How do you do? This is Clive Brooks. One of the most intriguing side aspects of detection, and one of the most irritating from the police viewpoint, is the number of pests and cranks who come forward whenever a major crime has been committed. For instance, there are always the well-meaning amateurs who are sure they could solve the whole thing in next to no time if given the chance. Then there are the psychic ones who claim to have seen the criminal in a crystal ball or a Ouija board or in a dream. Then there are the sensationalists who build up casually heard gossip and rumors into sworn statements of fact. Also, there are the anonymous letter writers who make the wildest accusations against the most improbable people. And more often than you might realize, there are the psychopathic cases who make spurious confessions to the crime and demand to be arrested. I call these people pests because their activities are an hindrance to proper investigation, and often they have harmful and occasionally tragic results. You think I overstate the case? Believe me, I don't. To prove my point, let me tell you the story of Major General Charles Edward Luard and his wife Caroline, and then you can judge for yourself. In the early years of this century, there were few better known or more widely respected couples in the whole county of Kent than General and Mrs. Luard. The General had retired in 1887 at the age of 48, and since then he and his wife had lived at Ightham Knoll near Sevenoaks. Their life was placid and pleasant. The General was a magistrate and a member of the county council, and for relaxation he played golf at the Wilderness Country Club. Despite the fact that the club was 3 miles from his home, he usually walked there and back. And so it was not at all unusual when, soon after lunch on August the 24th, 1908, he said to his wife,
Care for a walk, my dear?
Oh, I don't know, Charles. I've a lot of sewing to do.
Oh, nonsense, my dear. Do you good to get out in the air? Nothing like a walk after a meal. Best thing in the world.
How far do you propose going?
Well, matter of fact, I thought I'd walk over to the club and pick up my sticks. Ward's had his gardener lay out a putting green at Barton Court, and he wants me to try it.
Oh, I couldn't possibly walk that far. Besides, I have to be back for tea. Mrs. Stewart's coming.
Oh. Tell you what, Tim. You know that summer house at the edge of the wood by Horace Wilkinson's place?
Yes.
Well, that's only a mile or so from here. We'll go that way. If you're feeling tired, I'll leave you there and you can rest a while and then come home.
Oh, well, all right, dear.
That's a spirit, old girl. We'll take Paddy along for company, shall we?
Yes.
Yes, Paddy. Walk, walk, walk. 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 Now, that's enough, that's enough. Well, you ready, my dear? You want to change anything like that?
No, I'll just go as I am, I think.
Good. Oh, come on, then. No point wasting time.
Half an hour's leisurely walking brought them to the summer house. It was a charming little spot, locally known as the Casa, situated in a quiet spot, fringed by a clump of tall firs and adjoining a pond. And there for a while they paused.
Well, how about it, my dear? You feel like coming any further?
No, I don't think so, Charles. I'll just sit here a while and then I'll return home.
Yeah. Well, you sure all right?
Yes, of course.
You wouldn't like me to leave Paddy with you for company?
Oh, no, thanks. You go on, dear. Don't worry about me.
No, it was just as you say.
You'll be home for tea, won't you?
Oh, yes, I should think so. Not much point hanging around at the club. Well, goodbye, my dear.
Goodbye, Charles.
Paddy, come on, boy.
Now that he'd only his dog for company, General Luard walked much more quickly. About 3 o'clock, he reached the country club, collected his golf clubs, and set off on the homeward journey a few minutes later. About 3:30, when he was walking along the road to Ightham, at a point roughly midway between the club and the summer house,
Noisiest, smelly, newfangled contraptions ought to be prohibited by law.
Good afternoon, General.
Oh, it's you, Vigor. How do you do?
I'm on my way to pay a call at Ightham. Can I offer you a lift?
But what, in that infernal machine?
Oh, it was all right, really, I assure you.
Oh, no thanks. Rather walk.
Oh, well, just as you please. How's the good lady?
Oh, standing up to it, you know.
Splendid. Give her my regards. Well, goodbye.
Goodbye. I know what the world's coming to.
at 4:30, General Luard arrived home. He was greeted by an agitated maidservant.
Oh, sir, something's happened. I'm sure it must have.
Now, what the deuce are you babbling about, girl?
It's the mistress, sir.
Well, what about her?
She's not home yet, sir.
But damn it all, she told me she was having tea with Mrs. Stewart.
Well, that's just it, sir. Mrs. Stewart's been waiting here this half hour. There's not a sign of the mistress, sir. It's not like her to keep anyone waiting. She's never done such a thing before. That's why I'm sure something must have happened.
Oh, nonsense, girl, nonsense. She probably forgot to take her watch and doesn't realize the time.
What are we going to do about it, sir?
Well, give my compliments to Mrs. Stewart and ask her if she'd mind waiting a little longer. And I'll walk back to the summer house and fetch your mistress. Here, take these golf clubs inside.
Very good, sir.
And so, once more, General Luard set out for the little house on the edge of the woods. About 5 o'clock, Mr. Wilkinson's coachman, Wickham, was digging in the garden of his cottage a couple of 100 yards from the summer house and separated from it by a thicket of trees when suddenly...
Help! Help! General Luard! What's the matter?
Oh, thank heaven you're here, Wickham. You've got to help me.
Yes, of course, sir, but what's it all about?
There's dreadful things happened. My poor wife, she's been murdered.
Murdered?
In the summer house.
But how, sir? Who did it?
I don't know. I went back to fetch her for tea. When I found her, I thought at first she'd fainted, and then I realized she was dead.
How'd she been killed, sir?
Shot through the head, I think. I was so horrified, I hardly stopped to look. You've got to come with me at once, Wickham.
Now, take it easy, General. You're just about done in.
Never mind about me, man. Don't you realize what I'm telling you?
Yes, of course, sir, but it's no good getting panicky. I'll send my wife up to the house to telephone for the police and a doctor. What you need right now is a good stiff brandy, sir. And when you've had that, we'll go back as soon as you feel up to it.
Within half an hour, the Chief Constable of Kent, Colonel Ward, who was also a close friend of General Luard, was on the scene. And before dusk, Inspector Scott of Scotland Yard had arrived and taken charge.
You say, General, you left your wife from the summer house shortly after 2 o'clock and found her body when you returned about 5. Yes, that'd be about it. I can't be positive about times, you know. I'm not one of these fellows who looks at his watch every 5 minutes. Right, and between those times, you walked to your golf club, walked home, discovered your wife missing, and walked back to the summer house. Yes, that's right. Now, when you first found your wife, that is to say, before you called Wickham, did you touch or move anything? No. You didn't try to lift her up or cover her body or anything like that? No, it was such a shock, you see, and the only thing I could think of was that I must get help. Of course. So you ran to Wickham's cottage, and after he'd sent messages to the police and the doctor, you and he returned to the summer house together? Yes. You had your dog with you, I understand. Tell me, General, is he a good watchdog? Oh, one of the best. If anybody, a stranger, had been concealed in the summer house or in the woods nearby, would your dog have barked? Oh, I'm sure he would. So we can take it that at the time you first left your wife there, and also when you found her dead, there was no one in the immediate vicinity. Well, that sounds reasonable enough. Now, I understand 2 diamond rings your wife was wearing are missing now. Yes. And this makes you suspect robbery was the motive. Well, naturally. You don't think taking the rings might just have been a cover-up, do you? What? How do you mean? Well, might it have been possible that whoever killed your wife stole the rings to hide his real motive? What I'm trying to get at, sir, is this. Did your wife have any enemies? People who wished her harm? Why, she hadn't an enemy in the world. Thank you, sir. That'll be all. You'll do everything you can to find the murderer, won't you, Inspector? Yes, of course, sir. You leave it to us.
Poor old Luard. This has been quite a shock to him, I'm afraid.
Naturally, it would be. Now, Colonel Ward, a little more information from you, if you don't mind.
Certainly, my dear sir. What is it you wish to know?
First of all, I want you to describe to me exactly how you found Mrs. Luard's body.
She was lying on her back on the veranda of the summer house in a pool of blood. Her dress was torn, and a pocket in it had been ripped completely away.
As though someone had been searching for valuables?
Precisely.
Carry on, please.
There were 2 bullet wounds, one on either side of the head. In addition to this, the back of her skull had been battered.
There was no sign of a weapon, of course.
None.
No possibility of suicide, then?
Absolutely not. She was murdered, and most brutally, too.
And this skull injury, have the doctors any theory about that?
Yes. One thinks it may have been caused by a blow from a heavy stick.
And the other?
He believes it was caused when she fell and struck her head on the veranda. However, as both agree it was the bullet wounds that killed her, their point's rather immaterial, don't you think?
My dear Colonel, in a murder investigation, no point's immaterial. Now, I presume everything possible has been done to track down the murderer.
Yes, certainly. And is still being done. The whole area hereabouts in a radius of 6 miles is being thoroughly combed. A close watch for suspicious characters is being kept on all roads and paths. The police have orders to stop everyone they see and require them to give an account of their movements. Every householder living in the area has been questioned.
So far, with no results?
I'm afraid not. Begins to look as though whoever did the job made a clean getaway.
He left no tracks at all.
None that we've been able to find.
Then to all intents and purposes, you're still completely in the dark about the whole thing.
Yes. My personal opinion is that the criminal was a hop picker, or at any rate a tramp or a gypsy. Kent's always inundated with odd characters at this time of the year.
Quite. Still, that is only your opinion. I mean, you've no evidence to support it.
No. It's just a reasonable assumption.
I'm afraid we've little use for assumptions in our business, Colonel. We prefer to deal with facts. Now, there's one more point. Have the doctors any idea of when the murder took place?
They estimate between 3 and 3:30.
You received no outside confirmation of this, of course.
As a matter of fact, we have. Mrs. Wickham, the coachman's wife, says she heard 2 shots about 3:15.
Did it occur to her to investigate them?
Apparently not.
Why not?
She thought it was a nearby farmer, a man called Kettle, shooting at sparrows. He often does, I understand.
Perhaps it was Kettle, or someone else similarly engaged. Perhaps the shots Mrs. Wickham heard weren't those that killed Mrs. Luard at all. That's possible, isn't it?
Yes, I suppose so.
And since the doctor's estimate of the time of death can never be any more than an intelligent guess, it's possible, I don't say probable, but it's possible that Mrs. Luard might not have been killed much before, well, for instance, 4 o'clock.
It could be, I suppose. All the same, Inspector, you don't suggest for a minute...
My dear fellow, I suggest nothing. All I'm trying to do, in my own humble way, is to arrive at the facts.
Facts. How does Scotland Yard proceed to sift through this mass of rumor, false confessions, and gossip to secure the facts about death in the wood? The murder of Mrs. Luard was treated by the London newspapers as a first-class sensation. And when the inquest opened at Ightham Knoll 2 days later, swarms of reporters and photographers invaded the place demanding admission. Most of them were refused. At the end of a long day's sitting, it was obvious that the police had made little progress in solving the mystery.
As no further witnesses appear to be forthcoming, and as the evidence we have heard to date has given us no hint whatever as to the identity of the person who committed this brutal crime, we can only trust that further police inquiries will yield more tangible results. I have no option, therefore, but to adjourn this inquest to a date to be fixed.
And now it was that the rumors and gossip began in earnest. The next morning's newspapers carried full reports of the evidence at the inquest. And that evening, as you can imagine, the murder of Mrs. Luard was the sole topic of conversation in every village pub in Kent.
What's the use searching the woods any longer? Fellow's well back in London by now, you can bet.
I'll never find them now.
What makes you so sure he come from London in the first place?
It says so here in the paper.
That's right. Colonel Ward reckoned he was one of the hop pickers, come down for the season, or maybe a tramp.
He was only guessing. What's he know? You ask me, they do better to look much nearer home.
What might you mean by that?
How do we know she was dead when the General found her? There's only his word for it.
You ain't suggesting he did it, are you?
Better be careful what you say, Thomas.
I'm not suggesting nothing. But I know what I know.
Well, what do you know?
You think I'm just talking, don't he? Well, I'll tell you something. My old woman's friendly with one of the housemaids up at the Knoll. She says the General and Mrs. Luard was always having angry words with one another.
Hey, come to think of it, I were daddying for them a couple of Saturdays ago, and they didn't half keep going on at each other.
You're a couple of gossiping old women, that's what you are.
Goes to show you had a motive, don't it?
Don't talk through the top of your head. If every man who ever had an argument with his wife was to kill her, there'd not be a married woman left in England.
Have it your own way. If you ask me, the old General knows a lot more than what he's told so far. You mark my words.
And so, incredible as it must seem, without foundation or justification of any sort whatever, the rumors spread. And in the way the rumors do, as they pass from mouth to mouth, vague conjectures, became accepted as statements of fact. All sorts of wild theories were advanced by amateur criminologists, and every day the now harassed and completely baffled police found themselves further distracted by false leads.
Oh, yes, I mean, it looks promising, sir. Oh? What's that, Sergeant? Well, just had a report in from a Tunbridge pawnbroker, sir, that a strange woman and a sandy-haired man have been trying to pledge a diamond ring. From the description of it, it sounds like it might be one that was stolen from Mrs. Luard. Good. Get Tunbridge police on the phone and have them detain the man and woman. Have the ring sent here at once for identification. Ah, very good, sir.
But on examination of the ring, General Luard said it was nothing like either of those stolen from his wife. And since it came from a sixpenny bazaar, this seemed fairly obvious. One evening, a drunk lurches into Bow Street and confesses to the murder. The next morning, in a more sober frame of mind, he retracts his confession and is sent home with a stern warning. The same day, in a London park, a police constable finds a man's coat beside a pond and pinned to it a letter.
My dear father, I cannot bear the suspense any longer. The item business has been playing on my mind. It was I who fired the shots there, but the devil was in me. By the time you get this, I shall be beyond human aid. Your unhappy son, John Storm. Blimey, this looks like a case for headquarters.
Pond and others in the vicinity were dragged. There was no sign of a body. The coat was never identified, and no trace was ever found of a missing man named John Storm. Meanwhile, the rumors were continuing in an ever-growing spate, and soon the police were being flooded with anonymous letters.
Look at them. 6 in last night's post, 8 more this morning.
I know. I've been getting them, too.
You've not mentioned anything to me about it?
I hardly thought it necessary.
What have you done with them?
Destroyed them, of course, as I imagine you'll be doing with those.
I certainly shall not. No, Colonel, in your position as Chief Constable, should you have done such a thing.
Well, what do you mean?
I mean, sir, it is your duty to hand all such communications over to me. And in future, I must insist that you do so. For all we know, you may unwittingly have destroyed valuable evidence.
You're not serious, Inspector?
I most certainly am.
But hang it all, those I've received have been nothing but a tissue of malicious lies and accusations against poor old Luard.
You must let me be the judge of that.
Am I to understand it's Scotland Yard's custom to heed every scurrilous unsigned letter it receives?
It's our custom, Colonel Ward, to investigate everything that might conceivably be of the slightest aid to us, even anonymous letters.
But I mean to say that the whole thing's so absurd. You're not suggesting that Colonel Luard did have anything to do with his wife's death, are you?
I can only repeat, sir, it's my job to investigate every possibility.
But this isn't a possibility.
No?
No, of course it's not. You know the facts yourself as well as I do. Mrs. Luard was killed at some time between 3 and 3:30. At 3 o'clock, General Luard was at his golf club, more than 2 miles away. 3:30, he was on his way home, still at least a mile from the summer house. Therefore, he couldn't have killed her.
You overlook one point, Colonel.
What's that?
We've no proof Mrs. Luard was killed between 3 and 3:30.
But the doctors said that...
As I told the reporter, the doctors can do no more than hazard a guess. To reach his club at 3, General Luard need not necessarily have left his wife till, say, 2:20. Then again, after meeting the vicar on the road at 3:30, he could have cut through the woods and reached the summer house at 3:50. He could have killed her at either of those times.
But dash it all, Inspector, it's utterly fantastic.
Why?
Because I've known Luard for years and years. He and his wife were extremely devoted to each other. No reason on earth why he should want to do her any harm. Besides, he's not the type to commit murder.
Few murderers are, Colonel.
That's begging the question. There's absolutely no evidence of any kind to link Luard with his wife's death. And I must say, I'm amazed you should even attempt to do so.
You misunderstand me, sir. I'm not attempting to do so.
But you just said...
I merely said that on the facts we have at our disposal, it's possible he could have done the job. Frankly, I don't believe he killed his wife any more than you do. In fact, I'm quite sure he didn't.
Then what are we arguing about?
I wasn't aware we were arguing. All I'm trying to make you realize is that we can't afford to reject any hypothesis till it's proven wrong. And when I say proven, I mean beyond any possible shadow of doubt. Do I make myself clear?
Yes, of course. I'm sorry we've been at such cross purposes.
And in future, I can rely on you to hand me any communications you receive, whether signed or unsigned, no matter what their contents.
Certainly.
So 3 weeks passed, with the police, despite their most painstaking efforts, no nearer to a solution of the mystery of Mrs. Luard's murder. By now, public interest has begun to wane, and the flow of anonymous letters has become appreciably less. Rather than stay any longer among the sad memories held for him, General Luard advertised item no to let, and on the evening of September the 17th, he presented himself at the house of his friend, Colonel Ward.
I say, Ward, I'm wondering whether you'd do me a favor.
Certainly, my dear fellow. What is it?
I've just had word from my son that he's due home on leave from Natal.
Splendid.
Yes, he's due in Southampton in a few days. So I thought I'd go down tomorrow and stay with friends till he arrives. Just don't like going back to the Knoll somehow, so I was hoping you might put up for the night.
Why, of course, my dear chap. It'll be a pleasure to have you.
Oh, well, that's jolly decent of you. I'll go home and fetch my things.
You certainly shan't. You'll stay right here, and I'll send one of the servants for them.
After dinner that night, General Luard seemed almost his own self. Colonel Ward carefully avoided any mention of the tragedy in the summer house, and it was the General himself who finally brought it up.
I'm getting a few letters lately, you know.
Letters? You mean from friends?
Well, yes, and from Myrtle, too.
Who?
I don't know. Blighters never sign their names.
You mean anonymous letters?
Yes, that's right. A bit disgusting, some of them have been. Suppose you and that Scotland Yard fellow have been getting them, too.
Yes, we have had a few.
Pretty caddish sort of trick, don't you think?
Vile. To think anyone could stoop so low. I shouldn't take the slightest notice of them if I were you.
Well, I must admit that I was a bit rattled at first, but I've rather got used to them now. It's amazing how one does get used to things, isn't it?
I'm terribly sorry, old man. It's a most distressing business altogether.
No, not at all, not at all. Talking of letters, I have a few of my own I must write before the morning. So, if you don't mind, I think I'll push off up to my room.
Certainly. You wouldn't like just one more glass of port?
No, thanks, sir. Well, good night, old chap.
Good night.
Next morning at 8:45, when Colonel Ward came down for breakfast, there was no sign of his guest. Worried, but not quite knowing why, summoned the butler.
Have you seen General Luard this morning?
Yes, he went out about half an hour ago.
Out? Where to?
He said he was going for a stroll in the grounds, sir.
He knew breakfast was at 8:45, didn't he?
Yes, sir, I reminded him. He said he'd be back in time.
Well, I don't see any sign of him. You'd better send one of the servants out after him.
Very good, sir.
General Luard was not to be found in the grounds, nor anywhere else in the vicinity. 15 minutes later, as a train from Maidstone that passed the test and level crossing at 9 a.m. was approaching this point, the driver, looking ahead, saw an elderly man on the footpath by the railway line.
Keep your distance, Grandpa, or we'll be singeing your whiskers. Hey, look out! The silly old coot's walking onto the line. Here, put on them brakes!
At 10, Colonel Ward heard the tragic news from a local policeman.
Shockingly mangled he was, sir. You might well imagine.
I don't suppose there's any doubt in the world it was General Luard?
No, sir. There was his initials on an handkerchief and the driver's description of him. And this, sir. We found it in his pocket.
A letter? For me?
Yes, sir.
My dear Ward, I'm sorry to have to return your kindness in this way, but I'm satisfied it's best to join her in the second life at once. I can be of no further use to anyone in this world of which I'm tired, and I do not wish to live any longer. I thought that my strength was sufficient to bear up against the horrible imputations and terrible letters which I have received. Now, however, in the last day or two, something seems to have snapped. My strength has left me, and I care for nothing except to join her again. So goodbye, dear friend, to both of us. P.S. I shall be somewhere on the railway line.
It's a bad business, sir.
It'll be a very bad business for certain letter writers if ever I get my hands on them.
An inquest on General Luard's death was held the following day. None of the facts were in dispute, and keeping up that old legal fiction that no man in possession of his senses would knowingly take his own life, the jury returned a verdict of suicide while temporarily insane. 4 days after that, the adjourned inquest of Mrs. Luard's murder was resumed. And when what little new evidence there was had been given, the coroner summed up.
This case with which we've dealt today is without doubt one of the most mysterious and horrible crimes on record. It was most cunningly conceived and most daringly carried out. And nothing has transpired that points to the direction in which the perpetrator is to be found. In the circumstances, lady and gentlemen of the jury, there is only one verdict which you can return. Willful murder by some person or person unknown.
And there it ended, and still ends. For to this day, the mystery of the death of Caroline Mary Lohr remains unsolved, and probably will remain so for all time.
How do you do? Do you enjoy talking? I do. I like to talk and discuss and argue for hours and hours on end. Perhaps I talk too much, all right. Perhaps I do. It's a very common fault. But mind you, I always let the other fellow answer, so long as he's brief and to the point. Not having transgressed any of the criminal laws, as far as I know, I've got away with it so far. But if I were a criminal, now that would be a very different cup of tea, or pair of shoes, or kettle of fish, whichever simile you prefer. Criminals have to be very, very careful not to go on too long. After studying many cases, I've come to the conclusion that criminals seldom help and more often harm themselves by saying more than they need to. Therefore, to all would-be criminals, my advice is, keep your trap shut. In proof of which, I'm going to tell you the story of a man whose life was in the balance. You'll hear which way it tipped by speaking just 3 words too many. Only 3 words. And I know people who use thousands and thousands of words too many, and they're not even arrested. I expect you know a lot of the same kind. But in the case of Frederick Stewart, the man in question, 3 words made the difference between freedom and... Let us go back a few years to one evening in February. Our scene is London, Pembridge Square, Bayswater to be exact. And there's our man, Frederick Stewart, strolling casually round the square. The only reason you give him a second glance is because he's such a very small man, only 3/4 of an inch over 5 feet. He doesn't look like a criminal, does he? But he is, and just out of jail for housebreaking. He usually holds down a job as a bookies clerk, but this doesn't tide him over the winter months when there's very little horse racing. Right now, Frederick Stewart is broke, very broke, and he has recently decided to carry a gun. That's rather unusual for a British criminal because the penalties are very severe. Of course, he never plans to use the gun. It's just to help him bluff his way out of trouble, if trouble comes along. He's too small to be much good in a fight. Watch him as he goes over to that house. He's ringing the doorbell. He looks over towards the far end of the square, rings the doorbell again. Nothing suspicious in that, is there? No. He rings the doorbell again. Persistent character, this Frederick Stewart. Between you and me, he's hoping nobody answers. Oh, dear, he's out of luck. Somebody's opened the door. An elderly woman.
Yes, what is it?
Isn't the chauffeur about?
Chauffeur? Oh, we've no chauffeur here.
Oh, sorry. Must be the wrong address.
Well, perhaps I know him. What's he look like?
Oh, never mind. Sorry to have bothered you. I'll see him when he gets back to the garage.
Oh, which one's that?
The Warwick garage. Goodbye.
Oh, goodbye. Well, that's funny. I've never heard of that one. Can't be around here. The Warwick garage.
3 little words. The Warwick garage. As it turned out, 3 words too many. They put a rope around Frederick Stewart's neck. Keep your eye on him. He's going on up the square. Looks back. Yes, the old lady's gone in and closed the door. He has that same quick look around as before. Nothing furtive, nothing would give him away. Just a glance to see that nobody has particularly got his eye on him. And there he goes into that block of flats. You know what his game is now, don't you? It's obvious. Scotland Yard call what Stuart is doing, sounding the drum. He rings a doorbell. If it's answered, he'll ask for some imaginary person. And being told that nobody of that name lives there, he'll say something about being given the wrong address, apologize, and go on his way. What he's looking for is a house or a flat where no amount of knocking or ringing brings an answer. He can be pretty sure then the place is empty, so he breaks in. That is exactly what he's doing to one of those flats at this very moment. He's sounded the drum. Everything seems to be all right from his point of view. He gets no response. And he's picked an easy flat to break into. The door has a glass panel set in the top half. A quick jab with the butt of his gun. He reaches through, carefully avoiding the jagged edges of the broken glass. Turns the latch. Is it bolted or on the chain? No, it opens easily enough. He's inside. Now he puts the door on the chain. That'll hold long enough to let him get out the back way if he's interrupted. Now he should go to the back door and see that it's unlocked. He should, but he doesn't. Just this once he's forgotten, unluckily. Unluckily because Mr. Webb, the owner of the flat, is on his way back. With him are his 18-year-old son, Clifford, and a friend, Mr. Frank Sweeney. They walk up the few stairs leading to the flat, and as they reach the landing, Mr. Sweeney notices something strange.
Hey, somebody's been making a bit of a mess of your stairs, Webb.
What is it? Where?
Here, Dad, look. Bits of broken glass.
Well, I'm blessed. It's from the glass panel in the door. See, it's broken.
Now, how did that happen?
Your mother must have come home before us. That's why the hall light's on. The door slammed when she came in, and the glass cracked and fell out.
I wish you'd have that beastly frosted stuff taken out. It's so old-fashioned.
And dangerous, too.
I'll think about it. Here, Frank. Hold this parcel a minute while I unlock. That's funny. She's got it on the chain. Doesn't usually do that. Kitty, let us in there, will you?
Oh, here she comes. I can see her shadow through the glass.
It's not. That's a man. He must have broken in. Cliff, run for the police. Quick.
Right.
You'll find one down on Portobello Road.
I know.
Frank, go with Cliff. If you can't find a copper there, try the other corner.
What about you?
I'm going into the flat to get that man.
How?
Same way he did. Reach through the glass. There, that's got it.
You better let me come in with you.
Do what I say, like a good chap. And don't bother about me. He's only a little fellow. I could handle 3 his size before breakfast.
So Mr. Sweeney, much against his will, follows Cliff down the road. Meanwhile, Stuart should have had plenty of time to get out by the back door. What's stopping him? Remember? He didn't check that back door. It's locked. And the key isn't in the lock. Webb's in the flat now. He's coming nearer and nearer. This is what Stuart's always feared. Webb weighs almost twice as much as Stuart, and he's very strong. He's seen him.
All right, my lad. The game's up. Get away from that door.
Stop, or I'll blow your head off.
Oh, got a gun, eh?
I'll use it if you come any closer.
You wouldn't dare.
They're not going to nab me. Not again.
I'm going to give you the beating of your life.
No, no! Get back! Oh. I've killed him. The fool. The blooming fool. What did he have to come at me like that for? I didn't want to kill him. I didn't want to. I must get out of here.
Horrified at what he's done, Stuart rushes out of the flat in the grip of panic. 2 thoughts only are in his mind: to get away from the scene of his crime and to get rid of the gun. He's not one of your cool master criminals, this frightened little man. He runs as though the devil was after him, and in his flight flings the gun over the wall into a garden as he passes, and hurries into the darkness of a London night. Mr. Webb never regained consciousness. He'd been shot just above the left eye, and although he was rushed to hospital, he died the next morning. Murder had been committed. Chief Inspector Horval of Scotland Yard was put in charge of the case. He and his staff went to the scene of the crime and made a careful, detailed investigation. Horval questioned young Clifford Webb.
Then the only thing the thief got away with is that gold bracelet.
And that's all, Inspector. There's nothing else missing, apart from that stuff he'd packed ready in the suitcase.
Yeah, I'm afraid we shall have to borrow that, Pro Tem, for evidence.
All right. It was one of Dad's.
You say when you, your father, and Mr. Sweeney arrived here, the light was on in the corridor and you saw the shadow of the man.
Yes, but not very distinctly.
Can you tell me anything about him? For instance, was he tall or short?
Come to think of it, he must have been short, because I thought at first it was my mother, and she'd got home ahead of us.
Ah, that checks with Mr. Sweeney's story.
Oh?
Yeah, he made a statement. Yeah, wait a moment, I've got it here. Mr. Webb was looking through the crack of the door. He said to me, he's only a little fellow. I could tackle 3 like him before breakfast. Yeah. So you see, his independent evidence establishes the fact that the thief was a small man. Can I have a word with you, Inspector? Yes, Simon, what is it? The photographers have finished, sir. We've had a good look round, but we haven't found any M.O.
What do you mean, M.O.?
Modus operandi, Latin meaning method of operation. Most professional criminals have a habit, a characteristic of their work, which gives them away. Their way of handling a jemmy or picking a lock. We'll call it a trademark, if you like. So what Sergeant Simon means is that there's no evidence here that checks up with any of our records.
That's going to make it a bit more difficult.
Possibly. But there are several other ways we can start to work to catch him. Well, we know he's a professional. The way he went to work makes that obvious. Oh, Simon. Yes, sir? See if anyone was sounding the drum in this neighborhood yesterday afternoon. Yes, sir. Digby? Yes, sir. Find out if anybody saw a small man, a stranger to the neighborhood, coming out of these flats about the time of the murder.
Right away, sir.
Clarkson.
Yes, sir.
Get back to headquarters and go through the files for records of housebreakers. There may be anyone from any part of the country. Broadcast this description. I want a small man, professional criminal, suspected of carrying a gun. Anything else?
Yes, an expert shot, sir.
Oh?
We only found 1 cartridge. Mr. Webb must have been a moving target. And yet the murderer only fired once and got him right in the head.
Yeah, give me that cartridge case. 32 caliber automatic. And the only one found?
The only one, sir.
Good. Then when you go through the records, keep an eye open for someone who's either been a soldier or known to be a good shot. Sharpshooter at a fair or a music hall or something like that.
I understand.
For 2 days, Scotland Yard worked ceaselessly on the 3 leads outlined by Chief Inspector Hobel. First, to find if anybody had been sounding the drum in the neighborhood or thereabouts. It didn't take him long to find the old lady who'd answered the door when Stuart made his first try in Pembridge Square.
Yes, now that you come to mention it, there was a man came to the door. Yesterday, late afternoon it was.
Can you remember what he looked like?
Oh, I didn't pay much attention. You know how it is. But he was a little man.
Think you'd recognize him again if you saw him?
Oh, no. I only remember him because of something he said.
What was that?
Well, he said he came from the Warwick Garage. And there's no Warwick Garage in these parts, as I should know. Lived here for 20 years, I have.
Not much of a description, but confirmation of the fact that the man Scotland Yard is looking for is a little fellow. That's a help to Sergeant Clarkson at headquarters, who's combing through the records of known housebreakers and checking on their movements. But it was Sergeant Digby who found the first piece of material evidence. Remember, Inspector Hobel had detailed Sergeant Digby to find if anybody answering their general description of the murderer had been seen leaving the block of flats.
Come in. Good morning, Inspector. Ah, it's you, Digby. Good morning. What have you got there?
I think it's the guy that did the job, sir.
Oh, good for you.
I found a man who was going past that block of flats with his girlfriend just about the time of the murder. He doesn't live in the neighborhood, and that's why it took me a bit of time to chase him up.
No, I understand. Go on.
Well, the man he saw was a little fellow in a devil of a hurry. He bumped into this fellow's girlfriend as he went past. The fellow turned and shouted after him to look where he was going. And he saw him toss something into one of the gardens up the square. Couldn't be sure which one.
And it was a gun, eh?
That's right, sir. I found it at the garden number 21.
Oh, nice work, Digby. Give it a fingerprint, boys. Though I doubt if they'll find anything. Hello? Who's this?
There's a cartridge jammed in the breech.
This means we've got to change our minds about the man we're looking for.
The murder weapon had been recovered. The gun that Stuart flung away as he rushed from the scene of the crime. A cartridge has been found jammed in the breech, and Chief Inspector Horwell says he has to change his mind about the man he's looking for. Why?
One bullet killed Mr. Webb. The point is, Dick, dear, that up to now we've been searching the records for a man who was a crack shot. Now we can forget that. Yes, I see what you mean, sir. It was just lucky he got his man the first bang. Exactly. For all we know now, he may have intended emptying the whole magazine into Webb, but the gun jammed.
The inspector called for Sergeant Clarkson, who had been going through the record files, and told him of this new development.
Well, that's what it amounts to, Clarkson. Let's drop the idea that the man we want is the dead shot. Now, how many suspects have we who fit into the picture?
4, sir. Tony Lesser, Warren Haste, James Cole, and Frederick Stewart, alias Frederick Robinson.
Right. Give me the papers on Cole and Stewart.
Here you are, sir.
Now, you take Lesser and Haste. Here's the report on the case, up to date. We'll go over them together, line by line.
Very good, sir.
Now, it doesn't matter how trivial the connection. If you find anything, tell me.
For the best part of an hour, the inspector and Clarkson checked and cross-checked every aspect of the case with the known characteristics of the 4 suspects. Then, once again, luck turns against Frederick Stewart.
Here's something, Clarkson. Listen to this.
Yes, sir?
It's in Stewart's file. Nearest relatives, uncle and aunt, living on Warwick Road. Does that ring a bell?
Warwick Road?
Remember when the old lady asked what garage he came from? The fellow said Warwick Garage, didn't he?
By Jove, sir, that's right, sir. It's a pretty slender connection when you come to think of it.
Maybe the connection was slender, but Horwell's reasoning was sound. Why, when a man is suddenly put to it to invent an excuse, as this man obviously was when the old lady asked him where he came from, why should he automatically think of a garage that did not exist? Why did the name Warwick leap into his mind? He might have had it ready in case of accident. He might. On the other hand, he might not. But let's rejoin the murder squad.
He's the smallest of the lot. Height, 5 foot and 3/4 of an inch.
Yes. Ordinary housebreaker. Yes, he was jailed for trying to burgle the County Hall, Westminster. It shows the night when there were a couple of officers secreted on the premises. Very bad luck. They chased him round the passages, 4.5 miles of them. Found him in the basement, in the boiler room.
Nice warm spot.
Not as warm as the spot he'll finish up in if he had anything to do with this Webb murder. I think that for the moment we'll concentrate on Mr. Frederick Stewart. Now, let's see if we can pick him up.
But it was not as easy as that. They found his landlady.
No, he's left. Well, to tell you the truth, I threw him out. Why? Hasn't paid his rent, that's why. Where's he gone? I don't know. And what's more, I don't care.
They tried his relations.
Petty? Yes, he's my nephew, more's the pity. In trouble, is he? What, again? How should I know where he is? He never comes near me. And a good job, too.
They found a bookmaker who'd employed him.
Yes, I used him for a couple of seasons as my clerk. Well, the fact is, we had a slight difference of opinion about 10 quid, and I told him what to do with himself. Won't show his nose round here again.
They found a friend.
What do you think? What do you think I am? A narc? If you want him, find him yourself. Besides, just because I was a friend of his once doesn't mean I am now.
And so it goes. Setback after setback. But still, the patient men at Scotland Yard keep on working. Suddenly, there came an unexpected development. Did you know that Scotland Yard has its own daily newspaper, the Police Gazette? Each night it goes out by road, rail, and air to its very limited but select readers all over Great Britain. This isn't a paper that is glanced through and thrown away. Every line is read and reread. One of its most popular columns is headed, Property Believed Stolen. In this column had appeared a very full description of a gold bracelet set with diamonds missing from the Webb household. The contents of this column are passed on by the local police to all jewelers and pawnbrokers in their area. Some time later, in Inspector Horwell's office,
an urgent teleprinter from the Lancashire County Police, sir. They've traced the Webb bracelet. Yes? A Bolton pawnbroker reported it. Well, could he describe the fellow who put it in? Yes, sir. 25 to 30, 5'10" at least, scar on left cheek.
Ah, that's certainly not Stewart. Yeah, but it could be Tony Lesser. Send out an all-station message to bring him in.
Finding Tony Lesser was no trouble at all. Wasn't even hiding. It so happened that he had nothing on his conscience, except the bracelet.
Where did you get it, Tony?
Oh, I found it.
Ah, you found it. Well, all I can tell you is that somebody who handled that particular bracelet is going for the 8 o'clock walk one cold morning.
Murder, eh? Oh, that's different.
Well, I thought you'd think so.
Did Stewart give it me? Nice price, too.
Oh, where did you find Stewart?
Oh, usual place.
Where's that?
Dog track.
Thank you, Tony.
So Scotland Yard has learned that Stewart likes to go to the dog races. A slender clue, you might think. Oh, no. That's one of the secrets of Scotland Yard. They know a man may break any or all of the 10 commandments, but break his habit of life he will not. If he's a lover of nightlife, it's in the dance halls and nightclubs that you'll find him. A scholar will be found in the libraries and bookstores. So to find Frederick Stewart, Scotland Yard goes to the dogs. First, Southend. No luck. Next, White City. No luck. Wembley. No luck. Haringey. No luck. Days later, back to Southend.
This is no good. We're wasting our time.
Yes, we'd better get back to London.
Might be worthwhile having one more look in the bar at the Crown Hotel. Seems to be the place where most of the dog experts hang out.
Be honest. Do you really think it's worth it? Or are you just thirsty?
Well, might as well kill 2 birds with 1 stone while we're passing. Come on.
Suits me. In we go.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I spilt your drink.
Oh, that's quite all right, my fault.
Oh, no.
I was standing in the way of the door. Forget it.
Well, have another one with me. Hi, this is him. You're Stewart.
I don't know what you're talking about. Robinson's my name.
That's right. Stewart alias Robinson.
I have to ask you to come with us.
I've been expecting this.
Chief Inspector Horwell wants to have a little chat with you.
So Stewart, unlucky again, was driven back to London for his little chat with the inspector. Of course, he had a story all cooked up. He admitted that he'd been in the flat at Bembridge Square and made a statement regarding what he called the accident.
I had the gun in my hand. I was working on the back door trying to get out. I knew he was coming up behind me, but I didn't know he was so close. I got a wallop on the back of my head. As I fell, I heard a bang. I must have been knocked out. When I came to, I was on the stairs outside the flat. I don't know how I got there. I didn't even see who hit me. I scrambled up and ran downstairs out of the house.
That was his story. But after hearing the medical testimony and all the other evidence presented by Scotland Yard, the jury decided that Stewart's version did not tally with the facts. He was found guilty and sentenced to death. There's an interesting footnote to this story. At the time Stewart was condemned, the English derby was only 3 weeks off. He asked his jailers for a copy of Raff's Guide to the Turf and for all the sporting papers so that he could study form. But a few days later, the governor of the prison came to his cell.
I have to inform you that the date has been fixed.
Yes, sir? When, sir?
June 6th.
But that's Derby Day. Can't they give me one more day?
I'm afraid not.
And so the day and the moment arrived. Some hours later, after Stewart had paid the supreme penalty, Chief Inspector Horwell and Digby, who happened to be in his office at the time, heard the results of the derby.
Well, I'm blessed. Here's a coincidence, Digby.
What is it, sir?
Practically the last words that Frederick Stewart said as they took him along the passage was, "Have a few shillings on Felsted today."
And it won?
Indeed it did. At 33 to 1.
And that is the end of Frederick Stewart, the man who almost escaped. A man who was hanged by 3 words too many. The Warwick Garage. Those fatal words that gave Inspector Horwell the clue to his identity. You may think that Stuart was caught because he was especially unlucky. Let me assure you that is not so. Any criminal who is against Scotland Yard is unlucky.
In the Secrets of Scotland Yard.
How do you do? This is Clive Brooke. Clarence Darrow, the American lawyer and writer, once said that everybody was a potential murderer, and that although he himself had never killed anyone, he frequently got great satisfaction in reading the obituary notices. Mr. Darrow perhaps goes further than most of us, but the fact remains that we are all intrigued by a murder trial. The reasons may very well be that subconsciously we put ourselves in the position of the accused, and the more normal the accused person is or appears to be, the greater our interests. Now, why? Because we consider ourselves to be normal, and as we watch and listen to the murderer, we are saying, "There, but for the grace of God, go I." Nothing so stimulates the imagination of the public as the trial of a man who, to all appearances, has led a respectable, normal life, and who suddenly has that life splashed across the front page of every newspaper in the land because he has been accused of murder. The man or the woman. And the case I'm going to tell you about today is that of a woman, Mrs. Florence Elizabeth Maybrick. Her trial in Liverpool just 60 years ago was one of the outstanding murder cases of the 19th century, and it remains to this day one of the classics of its kind. For added to the factors which go to make a good murder case, the normality of the prisoner, the respectable family life, the fiendish plot of which he was accused, added to these factors was the element of mystery. And next to a good murder, the world loves best a good mystery. The case of Mrs. Florence Maybrick had both. It was March in the year 1889. The days had been unusually sunny for so early in the year, and in Liverpool, England, the inhabitants went about their work smiling, for sun in March was something to be cheerful about. In Liverpool was the home of Mr. and Mrs. James Maybrick. Mr. Maybrick was a wealthy cotton merchant. He was a native of Liverpool, and it was natural that he should live in that city, for it was the principal port in England for ships westward bound, and it was in America that Mr. Maybrick sold his cotton. It was also in America that Mr. Maybrick found his wife. But let us hear him recall that occasion to his wife and his brother on this sunny day in March at his home in Liverpool.
Yes, 8 years ago today, Michael. Hey, I'm surprised that you and my own brother should forget my wedding anniversary.
It is bad of me, Jim. But you know, the date has never really stuck in my mind. I suppose it's because it all happened out there in America.
Well, you're wrong again, Michael. Oh, yes, I know Jimmy met and wooed me out there. And how he wooed. But we were married in London while you were in America.
There you are. You see, I knew someone was in America at the time.
You're too tricky for us, Michael. Well, anyway, it's our 8th anniversary today. 8 years of very happy marriage, eh, my love?
Very, very happy, Jim.
Oh, I'll admit I've had my doubts and fears, but thank the Lord they've come to nothing.
Well, what were you afraid of, Jim? Do you think Florrie here would want to live in America? Were you ashamed of dear old Liverpool?
Oh, it wasn't that so much, but, well, you know how old I am, don't you, Michael?
You do sound solemn about it, old boy. Well, I know you're over 45.
50 last month.
Come now, Jim, that's no very great age.
No, my love, but sometimes it worries me that you're so much younger. Well, only 26.
Did it worry you when we met in New York? I was only 18 then, and you were 42.
It was different then.
Oh, stop fussing, Jim. I've never known such a worrier. If it's not your health, it's your age. You ought to be very grateful. You've made a lot of money. You can sit back a bit now and tell others what to do in the firm. You've got a lovely young wife.
Thank you, Michael.
You've got 2 of the sweetest kids I've ever seen, a grand old house with 4 servants to run it. What more could a man want?
You're right, of course, Michael. We must count our blessings.
It was 3 o'clock, Jim. Time you took your medicine.
That's quite right, my dear. Thank you for reminding me. Thank the gods for giving you good health. Michael, you know, I can't think of anything worse in life than always having to take these infernal tonics and tablets.
I really think you enjoy it, Jim.
Enjoy it? I wish I could. It's no joking matter, you know, Michael. Some of these drugs I take are very dangerous. I learned all about them when I was last over in the States. This one, for instance, contains a good deal of strychnine.
Strychnine? I thought that was something to kill you, not to cure.
It's poison, isn't it, Jim?
Yes, it's poison, all right. But not when taken in these small quantities. It's used to calm the nerves. My nerves are terrible, you know.
Does Dr. Hopper still attend you? Well, what does he say about all this?
Hopper isn't much good. I still take the medicine I brought in the States, as well as this one that Hopper's given me. The American one contains arsenic, I believe. So really, you see, I'm just dosing myself with poison.
I should be careful there, Jim. They're dangerous things to muck you about with.
Don't worry, Michael. I shan't do away with myself.
What a depressing conversation. Come on, you two, cheer up. This is supposed to be a celebration.
On the whole, a happy little group. There was nothing to indicate to Michael Maybrick that his brother and his sister-in-law were not completely in harmony. But then Florence Maybrick was good at acting the part of the loving and considerate wife. Even Jim, her husband, did not suspect her of disloyalty. But Florence had recently met a Mr. Brierley, a good-looking cotton broker from London who had been most attentive and complimentary to her. She was, after all, young and attractive. Her husband was 50. Life was rather dull in Liverpool. Perhaps a weekend in London would make life a bit more pleasant. With this in mind, she wrote to the Grand Hotel, Cavendish Square, London, pretending to write for her brother. She was, in fact, booking rooms for herself and the gallant Mr. Brierley.
Hello, my dear. Writing letters?
Oh, yes, Jim. I'm afraid I have to go up to London for a few days. My aunt's been taken very ill, and I must be with her. I've just written to the hotel, booking a room for myself. Will you be all right, my love? I shan't be gone for more than 3 days at the most.
Well, perhaps I could get away from the office and come with you.
Yes, that'd be splendid. Oh, I don't know, Jim. I'll be spending most of my time with my aunt, and you'd be awfully bored.
Aye, maybe you're right. Some other time, then. You'll be back for the Grand National.
Oh, as if I'd miss it. Have you ever known me miss a horse race if I could possibly help it? Of course I'll be back. Yes? What is it?
Begging your pardon, Mum, but the doctor's come to see the master.
Dr. Hopper. Oh, yes, of course. It's Wednesday, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll see him in the next room. You show him in there, will you?
Very good, Mr. Maybrick.
Darling. Darling, I don't think that doctor's doing you much good, is he?
No, I'm going to change. I shall probably consult a specialist if I don't get better soon. You know, I suddenly came over completely numb in the legs and arms.
You poor darling. I hate the idea of leaving you even for 3 days.
Oh, I'll be all right, Florrie. Anyway, your aunt needs you more than I do at present.
And so Mrs. Maybrick and Mr. Brierley discreetly visited London. And as far as we know, Mr. Maybrick suspected nothing. But after being so discreet, Florence was just the opposite when she accompanied her husband at the Grand National on her return from London. For it was there that she happened to run across Mr. Brierley once more. And her behavior with him in public was enough to put Mr. Maybrick in a very bad temper indeed. In fact, to make him leave the racecourse and return home to wait for his erring wife. The housemaid with the curious name of Yap was surprised to see her master home so early.
Oh, Mr. Maybrick, you quite startled me. Are you back from the racecourse already, then?
Yeah, you can see I'm back, can't you? I left early.
And the mistress, sure, she returned too?
No, I don't know where she is, and I don't care. She's probably still enjoying herself at the course.
begging your pardon, sir. It's Mrs. Maybrick coming up the pathway now. She must have come on just behind you.
Oh, there you are, Jane. Well, that's a fine way to treat your wife, I must say, walking off and leaving me like that.
How dare you, making a fool of me in front of all those people. It's such a scandal, it'll be all over the town tomorrow. How could you, with that Brierly man, too?
And what, may I ask, is wrong with that Brierly man, as you call him?
What's wrong with him? Tell me something that's right about
well,
him.
He's certainly a great deal more fun than you in your present mood.
Why, you little... You deserve to be beaten black and blue for this.
It's the end, Jane. Do you realize it's the end? I'm leaving this house.
Leave it by all means. And remember that once you cross the threshold, you'll never enter it again.
Madam, please.
Yes, what is it?
Your son, madam.
Billy? What of him? He's not ill?
Oh, bless you. No, madam. He's just asking for you. That's all. Would you come up and see him?
Oh, yes, of course. Jim.
Yes, Florrie? What is it?
Jim, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry I upset you. Will you forgive me? I'll never do it again, never.
All right, Florrie. Let's say no more about it. 6 o'clock. Time for my tonic.
I'll fetch it for you, dear. I'm going upstairs anyway.
Well, thank you, Florrie.
It was during the next month, April, that James Maybrick made a journey to London, but not for pleasure. He went to see a specialist about his liver, his nerves. He was given a new prescription which he had made up in London and sent on to him. While he was giving his instructions to the chemist in London, his wife was visiting her chemist in Liverpool.
Oh, good morning, Mrs. Maybrick. Lovely day, isn't it?
It surely is. When the weather's like this, I don't miss the States one little bit.
What can I do for you?
Oh, well, I made out a list for you. There are quite a few things, so perhaps you'll send them round the house.
May I see the list, please? Oh, yes, just the usual household articles. Certainly, Mrs. Maybrick. I'll have these sent round this evening.
Oh, I forgot to put down fly papers. Do you have some?
Yes. Are these the type you wanted?
Well, have they got arsenic on them? I want them real strong.
Oh, I think you'll find these quite strong enough, madam.
All right, send me around a couple of dozen, will you?
Very good, madam. I'll add that to the list.
Florence Maybrick did not use the fly papers to kill flies. She soaked them in water and thus composed a weak solution of arsenic. She did this quite openly as she had bought the fly papers from the chemist. And when the maid Yap asked her what she was doing, she explained that a chemist in America had taught her that an arsenic solution was excellent for the complexion. This idea was held by quite a number of women at the time, and there was nothing odd about Mrs. Maybrick's explanation. Perhaps it was also just a coincidence that on that particular evening, after taking some of his medicine, James Maybrick was violently ill. A new doctor, Dr. Humphreys, was called in. He attributed the sickness to the new medicine from London, which contained strychnine. This was discontinued, but still Mr. Maybrick got worse. What was the cause of the illness? Why was it that everything Mr. Maybrick ate made him sick? Was he being slowly poisoned to death? It was on the 7th of May, 1889, that Mrs. Florence Maybrick called in a second doctor to examine her husband. This new man, Dr. Carter, was perplexed at what the attending Dr. Humphreys told him.
Carter, these vomiting fits that Maybrick has, they have all the symptoms of arsenical poisoning. But there's only a minute quantity of arsenic in the medicine he's been given.
Couldn't that be responsible?
I don't think so. I've spoken with Maybrick, and he tells me that he's been taking nerve tonics for years, and that they've all contained arsenic or strychnine. He hasn't suffered like this before.
Then if you're right and the cause of the vomiting is arsenic, it would appear that the poison has been given him without his knowing it.
Yes, but who'd do such a thing?
Who is there staying at the house at present?
Besides Maybrick, there's his wife, his brother Michael. He just arrived this morning. And 4 servants.
And I suppose Mrs. Maybrick is taking care of her husband?
Yes. Would you like to see her? I believe she's in the garden. There she is, over by the summer house. Mrs. Maybrick, this is the doctor I've called in for your husband. Dr. Carter, Mrs. Maybrick.
How do you do, Dr. Carter? Have you examined my husband?
I have, Mrs. Maybrick, and I also have a full report from Dr. Humphreys here. I think he's over the worst, and his recovery should now be speedy. I must admit, however, that I have not found the full cause of his illness.
Oh, I think it's those medicines, especially the new one from London.
It's very doubtful whether the medicine itself would make him sick, unless it were added to.
Well, that's what I mean. Didn't I tell you he had me add some white powder to it?
No. White powder? You never told me that, Mrs. Maybrick. What was it?
Well, I really can't say. It's something he got in the States, I believe. But I don't think he has any more of it. Is it all right for me to go up and see him now?
Oh, yes, quite all right. And don't worry about him, Mrs. Maybrick. You may take my word for it that he's well on the way to recovery.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear you say so. I'll see you before you go.
Very well. White powder. What do you make of that, Carter?
The whole thing's getting a bit beyond me. Surely the man isn't dosing himself with poison. What's the position here, Humphreys? Happy family, aren't they?
Yes, as far as I know. I believe there was a row a few weeks ago about her behavior with someone at the Grand National. But that blew over.
You know, what struck me, if anyone's in an ideal position to poison Mr. Maybrick, it's his wife. She is in full charge of the household. She takes his meals to him personally, and she nurses him night and day.
Oh, I'm sure your suspicions are utterly based.
Nevertheless, I'm going to have a nurse brought in, and Mrs. Maybrick is going to be kept away from her husband as much as possible.
The nurse arrived that afternoon, and from then on was in constant attendance. It was also on that afternoon that Mrs. Maybrick gave the maid Yap a letter to post. Now, Yap was a suspicious little creature, and when she saw the name Brierly on the envelope, she remembered the scene between her master and mistress over someone of that name and decided to open the letter. First, she dropped the envelope in the mud so as to have an excuse for putting the letter in a clean one. What she read was enough to send her straight to Michael Maybrick, the brother who was staying in the house.
Yes, who is it?
Beg your pardon, sir.
Yes, Yep, what's worrying you?
Well, sir, I wonder if you'd read this letter. I'm not really supposed to have opened it.
Then why did you?
When you read it, sir, and you'll see for yourself.
My dearest, since my return, I've been nursing M day and night. He is sick unto death. It would be best for you not to come back here for some time. Although he doesn't know about our time in London.
She says that Mr. Maybrick is sick unto death, but the doctor told her this morning that he was well on the way to recovery.
Yes, Yep. I think you'd better leave this to me.
Very good, sir. Thanks.
Michael Maybrick's suspicions were now thoroughly aroused. Even though his sister-in-law was not supposed to enter her husband's room, Michael instructed the nurse, a lady with the charming name of Gore, to keep a special watch. On the 9th of May, James Maybrick showed a marked decline. It was on this day that Mrs. Maybrick had a word with the maid Yap, who had been left in charge of the patient while the nurse had an hour off duty.
Yeah? Yeah, come here a minute, will you?
Yes, madam. What is it?
You've been behaving rather strangely to me this last day or so, yes.
Strangely, madam?
Yes. I don't want you getting any funny ideas into your head about me. What's the doctor been telling you?
The doctor, madam? Why, nothing at all. Why should the doctor be talking to me?
He suspects me, yes. He suspects that I'm trying to do away with my poor husband.
Oh, I'm sure you're wrong, madam. You're not going in to see Mr. Maybrick now, madam, are you? He's resting.
I don't think it's your position to tell me when and when not to see my own husband. Can I come in, Jim, dear?
Hello, sorry. Have they been keeping you away from me?
Mrs. Maybrick, I'm afraid I must not allow you to stay very long. Doctor's orders.
Not allow me. Really, Yap, don't forget that I'm the mistress in this house.
She's only trying to do her duty, Florrie.
Are you getting plenty to eat, Jim? What's this bottle got in it?
Please don't go touching that, madam.
Stop touching, Yap. I'm only taking it over to the light so that I can read the label.
Really, madam? I can't...
Me too. Well, smells quite nice.
Here, put it down, Florrie. Can't you see you're driving poor Yap off her head? Now, come and sit down and tell me what you've been doing. Hey, I wish I could come up and about with you. Hey, how's the gown?
Yap was certain that she saw Mrs. Maybrick slip something into the bottle while she was examining it over by the window. Sure enough, the contents of the bottle were analyzed later, and they were found to include arsenic. On the 10th of May, Michael, the brother, came across Florence Maybrick and 2 bottles in her hand.
Hello, Florrie. What are you doing?
Hello, Michael. I was making sure that Jim was getting the right medicine.
I'm sure you are.
Oh, what a nasty way you're speaking to me, Michael. Is something wrong?
I've just had the analysis of that meat juice you handled yesterday. It was found to contain arsenic.
Was it examined before I handled it?
No, but there's no suspicion attaching to anyone else in the household.
Perhaps there should be. Actually, I'll admit I put something in that bottle, and Jim asked me to. He said they kept too sharp a watch on him, so he gave me some powder and asked me to slip it into his food when Nurse wasn't looking. I suppose there must have been some arsenic in the powder. I certainly didn't know, otherwise I wouldn't have done the ask.
I'm sure you would. May I see the bottle you have in your hand, please?
I suppose you're going to have that analyzed, too.
I am.
Mr. Michael, madam, oh, come quickly, please. You must come, oh, do come, please.
What is it? Yeah, calm down and tell us quietly.
The master, sir. Oh, madam, he's taken very bad. It looks like the end. Oh, dear. Oh, the mistress has fainted.
By the time Yap brought Mrs. Maybrick round, her husband was dead. The post-mortem showed inflammation of the stomach and intestines, and rather less than half a grain of arsenic was found in the body. A search was immediately made of the house. Arsenic was found in many places. A packet of the poison was found in Florence Maybrick's trunk. Traces of it were found in her clothes, and traces in bottles of medicine. There should have been none. There was some of it among the dead man's belongings as well. The evidence pointed strongly to the wife, and as soon as she was well enough to be charged, she was taken to the police station and committed for trial. Naturally, the case excited wide interest. Here was something for a journalistic field day. The possibility of a wife administering arsenic under the cloak of devotion. Was this Maybrick woman the tender nurse or the fiendish assassin? The loving wife and mother or poisoner? Whichever was the true picture. The public, at least, was out for a hanging when the case opened on the 31st of July, 1889, at the Liverpool Assizes. The trial lasted 6 days. Medical opinions were sought and given on both sides. The specialist who had examined the body was positive that death was caused by arsenical poisoning, long drawn out. Mr. Maybrick's doctor pointed out that his patient had long been taking nerve tonics containing arsenic. But there was the purchase of the fly papers and the discovery of arsenic in meat juice. What had Mrs. Maybrick to say to that? Although in those days prisoners were not allowed to give evidence on their own behalf, they were allowed to make a statement. And Sir Charles Russell, the defending counsel, called on his client on the 5th day. This is what she said.
My lord, it seems that the two things that are most against me are the buying of the fly papers and the addition of the powder to the bottle of meat juice. First of all, the fly papers. I bought these to get the arsenic out of them, but not for poisoning my husband. Many years ago in America, Dr. Grace of Brooklyn prepared a cosmetic for me, which I've been unable to obtain in this country. Its basis was arsenic, and he told me that it was good for the complexion. As for the powder I put in the meat juice, my husband had many times asked me to give him some of his old medicine, which he thought did him more good than the stuff he got from London. He asked me to slip one of these powders into the bottle or into his food so that the nurse and doctor wouldn't notice. He swore to me that it would do him good. Finally, I would like to say that for the love of our children and for the sake of their future, a perfect reconciliation had taken place between James and me. and that on the day before his death I made a full and free confession of the fearful wrong I'd done him.
Perhaps it was her open association with Brierley that made Florence Maybrick so unpopular. Certainly the evidence against her was not overwhelming. Mr. Justice Stephen, who tried the case, gave the jury no definite direction. I don't think he was very sure himself. After going through all the evidence that had been given in court, he admitted that there were still two great difficulties. Not simply questions, difficulties.
These difficulties, members of the jury, are quite apart from the question of motive. The motive would seem to be that of the infidelity, at least so the prosecution makes out. But the two difficulties that remain are these. One, was the arsenic that was found in the body, less than half a grain, sufficient to cause death? You have heard the medical opinions. You must decide. Two, if it was sufficient, and if you believe that it did cause the death, who administered it?
The jury believed that the arsenic in the body was sufficient, and they found Florence Maybrick guilty of administering it. She was sentenced to death. But strangely enough, popular opinion, ever fickle, had swung round. Whereas the prisoner had been hissed as he entered the court, it was the judge who was booed as he left it. And immediately many influential groups went to battle to save Mrs. Maybrick from the gallows. Committees met on the Liverpool poisoning case. Demands for reprieve were signed and sent to the Home Secretary. Numerous letters were written to the Times. And the reprieve was granted. After many years of imprisonment, Mrs. Maybrick went back to America. There, not long afterwards, she died. And with her died the secrets of her husband's death. What do you think? Could that small amount of arsenic be sufficient to kill a man who had been accustomed to the poison through taking it in medicinal form for years? And which was the true Mrs. Maybrick? Now, a long time afterwards, the judge who tried the case was sitting at dinner when his neighbor turned to him and said, "I've never heard you express an opinion as to the guilt or innocence of Mrs. Maybrick." "I never did express an opinion," replied the judge. And he would say no more. And I will say no more, but I shall be back again soon to tell you some more of the secrets of Scotland Yard. Meanwhile, this is Clive Brooks saying goodbye and pleasant dreams.
How do you do? This is Clive Brooks. Has it ever occurred to you how the crime of murder takes the obscure and uninteresting and the hitherto unknown and suddenly shines upon it the light of intense and terrifying publicity? That can apply to both people and places. The combination of the power of the police and press can make even innocent details seem horrifyingly suspicious. The story we're going to tell you today is the story of a murder, but it's more than that, isn't it, Percy?
Yes, Clive. The case of Harold Greenwood was, I think, unique in modern times. Rarely was a man surrounded by such an atmosphere of guilt, and yet, despite all this...
Now, wait a minute, Percy. Don't tell too much of the story, because, unlike some of the murder cases which we have discussed in this series, the story of Harold Greenwood has a surprise ending. We have called it the Case of the Family Solicitor. The village of Llywelyn lies about 12 miles beyond Carmarthen, a small township in South Wales. It's quite a historical neighborhood, with a famous castle and many medieval relics. However, when in 1920 the name Llywelyn was spoken about in every other household in Britain, it was not because of the historical significance. It was because of the strange and tragical happenings in Rumsey House some 12 months before. Harold Greenwood was an elderly solicitor in practice in the town of Llanelli. His wife Mabel was liked and esteemed. She, together with her husband, were regular attendants at the local church. And together with their 4 children, 2 daughters and 2 sons, ranging from 21 to 15, were among the most respected inhabitants of Quebec. So it would seem on the surface. But beneath the surface, you might have heard other voices.
No matter what you say, I can't really like that, Mr. Greenwood. Why, I can't tell you, but I just don't like him.
Do you hear now? That Mr. Greenwood, cruel to his wife he is. Oh, I don't know for certain, but people talk, you know. Yes, people talk. A fact with which Harold Greenwood was eventually to become only too well acquainted. In June 1919, the family household of the Greenwoods consisted of Mr. and Mrs. Greenwood, Irene, their elder daughter, and Kenneth, their younger son. The 2 other children were away at boarding school. There was a staff of 3 women servants. For some considerable time, Mabel Greenwood's health had been unsatisfactory, a fact which was well known in the neighborhood.
You know, Harold, dear, I hate to complain, but I've got these pains again.
I wish you'd let me write to your brother and have a specialist down to examine you.
I don't like worrying him.
Oh, nonsense. Something should be done about it. I'll write today. I'll do it right away.
Right he did, but for some reason the letter was never posted. On Sunday, the 14th of June, the Greenwood family spent a leisurely morning. At 12:30, Hannah Williams, one of the maidservants, complained to the cook that Mr. Gardner was in her pantry and she could not get the silver to lay the table. But nevertheless, at 1 o'clock, the luncheon was served. It consisted of hot joint, vegetables, gooseberry tart, custard, and, I almost forgot to mention, a bottle of Burgundy.
Harold.
What is it, my dear?
Oh, I don't know. I've got the most awful pain. I feel so sick.
Here, just on my arm.
Oh, I feel so terrible. Harold, stay with me.
Yes, of course I will, dear. But we must get you up to bed. Hannah, come at once.
What is it, Mr. Greenwood?
It's Mrs. Greenwood. She's sick. Come and give me a hand to carry her upstairs. Come along at once.
Mrs. Greenwood was taken upstairs to her bedroom. At 7 o'clock, her husband went across the road for a Dr. Griffiths that attended to Mrs. Greenwood before.
Don't you worry, Mrs. Greenwood. I'm sure you're going to be all right.
Oh, I hope so, Doctor.
I will be sending over a bottle of medicine together with directions. I want you to do exactly as I say. Take good care and everything will be all right.
Unfortunately, Dr. Griffiths' optimism was not altogether justified. But Mrs. Greenwood had another visitor, a Miss Phillips, one of those nice, kind neighbors who always seems to be on hand at the crisis, particularly when there's a chance of a little news item for gossip. Miss Phillips was not as optimistic as the doctor. On her advice, a nurse was sent for, Nurse Jones.
Well, it's very difficult having to come at such short notice, but still, if it's an urgent matter, I suppose I'll have to come.
She stayed with Mrs. Greenwood until fairly late, but then had to return home to put her children to bed. The nurse returned at 10 o'clock, and from then onwards, Mrs. Greenwood grew steadily worse. By 1 a.m., the patient seemed to have realized the seriousness of her condition, if no one else did.
I think I'm dying. I want to see my children first. Oh, please, God, let me see my children first. Well, I don't know. I suppose I'd better send for Mr. Greenwood. I've never seen a case like this before.
At 3:30 a.m. on Monday, the 16th of June, Mrs. Greenwood died. Dr. Griffiths, the following day, certified the death as due to valvular disease of the heart. What in the name of goodness is all this commotion about? Why, Nurse Jones.
I'm sorry to disturb you so early, Vicar, but it's Mrs. Greenwood.
What about Mrs. Greenwood?
She's dead.
Dead? Why, I was with her only the other day. She seemed in perfect health.
I know, Vicar. Can't understand it. She came over sick so suddenly.
What was the matter with her?
I don't know, but if you ask me, I'd say there are some who could tell you. Some who could tell you quite a lot if they had a mind to it.
You're not trying to say that...
I'm not saying anything, Vicar, but I can't help thinking.
In the days and the weeks that were to come, Nurse Jones could not help thinking. And she could not help talking, too. On Thursday, the 19th of June, Mrs. Greenwood was buried in the somewhat congested churchyard at St. Mary's Church. Forasmuch as it hath pleased Almighty God of his great mercy to take unto himself the soul of our dear sister here departed, we therefore commit her body to the ground, earth to earth, ashes to ashes, dust to dust.
We never saw a case like that before. And that Mr. Greenwood going around just as ever. Oh, you wonder if there's justice on this earth.
I was talking to Nurse Jones the other day, and she was saying again how scandalous it is about that Mrs. Greenwood dying and no inquiry, nothing. I don't like to say anything, but I ever tell that Mr. Greenwood is thinking of marrying again.
The position of Mr. Harold Greenwood was uncomfortable in more ways than one. His wife had enjoyed an annual income, but unfortunately this did not pass to him on her death. His solicitor's business was not sufficiently prosperous to maintain the considerable establishment at Rumsey House. Besides these financial worries, in a small village such as Kiwesley, it was impossible for him not to hear some of the rumors which were circulating. Remember, too, this was soon after the First World War, a time of sudden death and hurried marrying. Remembering all these things, it was not surprising that when a Miss Gladys Jones, a woman of about 30, came into Mr. Greenwood's life, it was not long before...
My dear, I think you have known for some time my feelings for you, and therefore it cannot come as a surprise to you when I ask you to be my wife.
But in marrying Miss Jones, Mr. Greenwood took another step towards the inevitable. He incurred the jealousy of a woman. You'll recall that a certain Dr. Griffiths, who lived just across the road from Rumsey House, had attended the first Mrs. Greenwood. Now, Dr. Griffiths had a sister, a close friend of Greenwood. And it was only on Tuesday, the very night before his wedding, that he told Miss Griffiths about it. This second marriage of Harold Greenwood gave rumor a new lease of life. And to add fuel to the fire, there was this jealousy of another woman, Miss Griffiths.
No good. I just can't stand it. Seeing that Mr. Greenwood walking around with his second wife and the first one only 6 months buried, I'm going to the police.
Well, now, Nurse Jones, what evidence have you to substantiate your suspicions?
Well, of course, it isn't easy, but I've been nursing for 15 years, and I've never seen a case like Mrs. Greenwood. It took me over so sudden-like, and then there was Mr. Greenwood.
Oh, what about Mr. Greenwood?
Well, that he did. He didn't seem at all perturbed when the poor lady died, getting married again so soon.
Oh, what else?
Well, I talked to some of the servants. Hannah Williams now. She says that on the day that Mrs. Greenwood was taken ill, Mr. Greenwood was in the pantry, and she thinks that...
I think that's in what other people think. But all the same, in view of the rumors circulating, I think we'd better make some inquiries.
And so, on the 24th of October, police officers visited Mr. Greenwood and took a long statement from him.
I can assure you, Superintendent, I am perfectly agreeable to giving you every help. I have certainly heard all these rumors, and not only for my own sake, but for the memory of my first wife, I should like to get the whole matter cleared up.
This statement formed the basis of a report to the Home Office. And finally, in April 1920, the local coroner instructed that Mrs. Greenwood's remains should be exhumed for a post-mortem examination. The results of this examination were sent to Mr. Webster, official analyst of the Home Office.
I have to report that I can discover no valvular disease or other natural cause to account for the death. However,
I can positively report that present in all the organs examined was found an amount of 18 milligrams of arsenic. By this time, the national newspapers had started to take an interest in the case. And only the day after the post-mortem, Mr. Greenwood, in an interview with the Daily Mail, said,
I am the victim of village gossip, of village scandal. And if you know Welsh village life, you will know what that means. It all started from the fact that 4 months after my first wife's death, I married again. That started the gossip. It is only fair to me to say that my first wife had suffered in health for at least 2 years before her death. Not only was her heart bad, but she also suffered from an internal disease. It was, however, from the heart attack that she died on June the 16th. No one, not even the doctor, thought that attack would be fatal.
The adjourned inquest was opened the following month, the anniversary of the poor woman's death. A great deal of evidence was brought forward. 18 witnesses were examined, and in particular, evidence was produced concerning the purchase of arsenic. Medical opinion considered that it... So far, this case has been handled entirely by the local police, but already Scotland Yard had a man on the spot. This officer reported to his superiors at the CID back in London that there was immense local bad feeling against Greenwood. And that was not the only trouble he found in Llanelli.
One of the greatest difficulties I'm encountering is in connection with the evidence. So far, I've taken statements from 12 witnesses, and over half of them have the same name, Jones. I'm in constant fear of getting the Joneses mixed up. Greenwood was arrested this morning, and I saw him at the station.
Tell me, Inspector, what was the wording of the jury's finding?
Mr. Greenwood, you might as well know it. It was this. We are unanimously of opinion that the death of the deceased, Mabel Greenwood, was caused by acute arsenical poisoning, as certified by Dr. Wilcox, and that the poison was administered by Harold Greenwood.
Dear. Oh, dear.
Oh, dear, indeed. The following morning, he was brought before the magistrates of Llanelli and formally charged with the willful murder of his wife. Considering the future events, it's rather a sad comment that a large crowd that had assembled outside Llanelli Town Hall to watch his departure booed him vigorously. Greenwood had to wait 4.5 months for his trial at Carmarthen Assizes. There was intense interest in this trial, and the little town of Carmarthen was crammed to capacity by visitors, pressmen, and other concerned in the case. For 7 sensational days, the eyes of the world were on this little town. As if the mysterious details of this case were not enough, there was the additional fact that briefed for the defense of Harold Greenwood was the greatest British advocate of the day, Sir Edward Marshall Hall. The trial opened on Tuesday, the 2nd of November, 1920.
May it please your lordship, gentlemen of the jury, on the 16th of June, 1919, Mabel Greenwood, wife of the accused, died at Rumsey House in Wembley at 3:15 in the morning. On the 16th of June, 1920, at 3:30 in the afternoon, the accused, Harold Greenwood, was arrested and charged with willfully murdering her by administering arsenic to her. And it is on that charge he now stands before you. This case is one which will command the closest and most prolonged attention, not only because it is the gravest charge known to the law, but also because of the nature of the evidence on which you are asked to find the accused man guilty. The crime of administering poison is almost always a crime done in secret, and the evidence with regard to it is, as a rule, indirect evidence, and not the evidence of eyewitnesses. So it is in this case.
Counsel for the prosecution then began to outline the various events centering around those dates, the 15th and 16th of June, a year before, leading up to that memorable Sunday meal.
The lunch consisted of roast beef, gooseberry tart, and custard, and it was laid by the parlour maid, Hannah Williams. When it was necessary for her to lay the luncheon, she required a silver basket in order to put out spoons and forks, etc. When she got to the pantry, she saw that the accused was there. He remained there for about a quarter of an hour, and during that time, she waited. She saw him going to the pantry into the dining room. When Hannah Williams went to the cupboard in the dining room, she found what she thought was a bottle of wine with a red label. She noticed in particular that it was not a full bottle, but that some wine had been taken out, and therefore, presumably, somebody had drunk some of the wine, or had emptied some of it out. She placed the bottle of wine before Mrs. Greenwood's seat at the dining table. She was present in the dining room during the luncheon, up to the time the sweets were eaten, and she will tell you that she, in fact, poured the wine from the bottle into Mrs. Greenwood's glass, and that Mrs. Greenwood drank it. At supper time, the wine bottle had gone.
A masterly moment of the trial was Sir Edward Marshall Hall's cross-examination of Hannah Williams, who, you'll remember, was one of the servants.
Did you tell the police that it was a bottle of port wine you put on the table for dinner on the 15th of June, and that it had on it a red label and a black print, and that you read on it the word port?
Yes.
That you swear?
Yes.
I suggest to you that it was labeled port.
Oh, no, it was port wine.
Do you suggest that Mrs. Greenwood was in the habit of drinking port wine?
Oh, no, sir.
What did she drink?
Burgundy. But port wine was there on this Sunday.
I know you have said so. Do you know that Beaune is Burgundy?
No, sir.
What did you do after laying the table?
I sounded the gong and Mr. Greenwood came in.
Did Greenwood come in from the garden before you put the dinner on the table?
He came in before I laid the table. I had to wait until he came out of the china pantry before going in to fetch the silver. I was not supposed to go into the room when he was there.
You mean to say that you have never seen Greenwood in the china pantry before?
I've never seen him.
I put it to you that almost every Sunday when he was at home, or after each time he was in the garden, he did go in there to wash his hands at the sink.
No.
Hundreds of times.
Oh, no, sir. He used to go upstairs to wash his hands.
Do you mean to say that you never saw Mr. Greenwood wash his hands at the sink in the china pantry?
No, sir.
It was a long way right up to the bathroom, was it not?
Not very long.
Are you telling us the truth?
I've come here to tell the truth.
Mr. Greenwood is here on his life. Do you swear it was an unusual thing for him to go to the china pantry?
You were getting rather excited just now and shouted at the witness. I have to see that the witnesses are not addressed in a vehement way.
Why not?
Because it confuses them.
Why, it is my duty to be vehement.
Another vital moment was the cross-examination of Nurse Jones.
When you got to the house at 8 o'clock, had she got to bed then? I want you to be very careful over that.
No.
When you left at 9 o'clock, you were satisfied that she was not in a dangerous condition then? You would not have left her if you thought she was in a dangerous condition?
I had to leave.
Did you not say at the police court, I made the patient comfortable before I left at 9 o'clock. I was obliged to go home?
It was not a voluntary statement, and it is obviously in answer to a question. She has already said that if she knew the patient was in a dangerous condition, she would not have gone. Would you have left the patient if you had known?
I have an aged father and a child of 5 to look after also.
Miss
Irene was there and Miss Phillips was there. If you had thought Mrs. Greenwood was really dangerously ill, would you have left?
I had to leave.
Well, I have to take your answer. Did Mrs. Greenwood say that the medicine caught her at the back of the throat?
Mr. Greenwood told me so.
Did Mr. Greenwood make a complaint to you?
Mr. Greenwood said to me, Nurse, Mrs. Greenwood complains that the medicine caught her at the back of the throat.
Did you taste the medicine yourself?
Yes. It had no effect on me.
And what quantity was the dose?
2 teaspoonfuls. It was soon after 10 o'clock that I gave Mrs. Greenwood the second dose.
I was not asking
You
must not pitch into this witness because she won't say exactly what you want her to say. All I am thinking is that if I raise my voice, he will raise hers. I am not pitching into her. I rather wish your lordship had not used those words. I am dealing with the witness in a perfectly fair way. I am sure you are, but don't pitch into me now. I can trust you, Sir Edward, and you can trust me.
One of the most telling witnesses for the defense was Irene Greenwood, the eldest daughter of the Greenwood family. She gave evidence that she, too, had drunk from the same bottle of Burgundy at lunch. Sir Edward's examination was complete, and after reviewing the whole evidence, he closed the defense in classic fashion.
You must be satisfied that one of those scales, the scale for prosecution, has fallen before you can be satisfied that this man is guilty. I ask you to remember the scene in Othello where the jealous Moor made up his mind to kill Desdemona. Othello enters Desdemona's chamber, makes up his mind to kill her relentlessly, for he believes her to be unchaste. And seeing her lying there, he thinks of the effect of killing her as compared with putting out her light. And he says, "Put out the light." And then he puts out the light. If I quench thee, thou flaming minister, I can again thy former light restore, should I repent me. But once put out thy light, thou cunning pattern of excelling nature, I know not where is that Promethean heat that can thy light renew. Are you, by your verdict, going to put out that light? Gentlemen of the jury, I demand at your hands the life and liberty of Harold Greenwood.
And so Sir Edward Marshall Hall summed up his defense to the jury. The jury retired for some 3 hours and came back with a verdict of
not guilty.
It was not until afterwards that it was pointed out that while returning a verdict of not guilty, the jury had passed a paper containing a fuller statement to the judge running as follows.
We are satisfied on the evidence in this case that a dangerous dose of arsenic was administered to Mabel Greenwood on Sunday, the 15th of June, 1919. But we are not satisfied that this was the immediate cause of death. The evidence before us is insufficient and does not conclusively satisfy us as to how and by whom the arsenic was administered. We therefore return a verdict of not guilty.
Well, that was the case of Harold Greenwood. He was found innocent, but as Sir Edward Marshall Hall had pointed out, his life and career had been ruined by gossip. 8 years and 2 months from his sensational trial, a brief paragraph in a few daily journals announced the death on the 17th of January 1929 at a little-known Herefordshire village of a man of 54 who, dogged by poverty, notoriety, and ill health, had lived there under the name of Pilkington. Harold Greenwood, whose name was once on everybody's lips, had made his last bow and exit from a world that had offered him little and deprived him of much.
You know, Clive, this is one of the rare cases in this present series where we have told the story of someone who was found not guilty. All the same, Scotland Yard is the servant of justice and not its master. Their job is to produce the evidence. And if on the basis of that evidence the prisoner is found not guilty, then justice has been done and the yard is satisfied.
And in the case of the family solicitor, Just as I think was done. Don't you agree?
How do you do? I've been asking myself why it is that criminal trials grip the imagination of the meekest law-abiders among us. What is the psychological urge that holds us to the crime columns of our daily papers and sends so many of us packing to the public seats at the law courts? It's quite a question, isn't it? Well, I've got an explanation for you. I'd like to read to you a few lines written by a great British statesman and political writer of the 18th century, Edmund Burke. This is what he says. The annals of criminal jurisprudence exhibit human nature in a variety of positions, at once the most striking, interesting, and affecting. The real culprits, as original characters, stand forward on the canvas of humanity as prominent objects for our special study. How well that slightly antique phrase applies to the macabre figure of Dr. Buck Ruxton, who slew his English wife, lovely Isabel, and Mary Rogerson, their servant, and dissected their unfortunate remains into 200 all but unidentifiable parts. Women in the crowded gallery of the court grew faint and retired, while expert witnesses gave evidence that was indisputable. And all the time, the prisoner's written confession lay in a sealed envelope addressed to a Sunday newspaper and in the custody of a friend who had strict instructions that it was only to be opened in the event of his death. But let me take you back to early September 1935. We shall go to the little English town of Lancaster. It's a pretty place, and at number 2 Dalton Square, we find the well-loved Dr. Ruxton at work in his surgery.
Do you think the little chap will be all right now, Doctor?
He will be all right, Mrs. Davis. It was quite a simple operation, you know. But if he should be a little fretful when the anesthetic wears off, just give him one of these tablets crushed up in water.
Oh, thank you, Doctor. You're so kind.
Now you run along and look after yourself and try to get a good night's rest. And keep the little lad quiet, won't you?
Oh, of course. And thank you again. You're so patient with children.
Not at all, my dear lady. Good night to you.
Good night, Dr. Ruxton.
I'll look into him in the morning. Isabel! Isabel!
Madam's gone to bed, sir.
Oh, it is you, Mary, eh?
She had a headache and turned in early, sir.
Ah, she did she?
Yes, sir.
You have a cigarette, Mary?
No, thank you, sir.
Nice stockings you are wearing, eh? Sit down.
No, thank you, sir. I'd rather stand.
My wife went out this evening, didn't she?
Yes.
Where did she go?
She went round to the dispenser for the children's medicine.
You are lying, aren't you, Mary? Huh?
I'm sure I don't know what you mean, sir.
She has got a lover, hasn't she? And that is where she went this evening, to see him, huh? Why don't you be frank? I know all about it.
I'm sure you're wrong, sir.
How old are you, my dear?
I'm 20.
You are a very pretty girl. Come here. I want to talk to you, huh?
Oh, no!
What's this?
So you are here, huh?
Yes. You may go, Mary.
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry.
It's all right. You may go. How dare you, Buck? I've warned you before about that girl. She's clean and decent. You wouldn't understand.
I know she is in league with you, huh? I was trying to make her tell me about your love affairs.
Oh, you swine. Your mind's full of black shadows and filthy, horrible things. They exist only in your imagination. You're trying to make yourself believe that I'm unfaithful, but you know that I'm not.
I know that you are, Isabel. Do you think I do not notice the sidelong glances you exchange with any man who happens to turn up? Of course, I see it every time we go out. You married me. It was an experiment, wasn't it, huh? And now you had enough. There is only one treatment for you.
Oh!
Isabel. Speak to me, Isabel. I am sorry. I am not fit to live. Please forgive me.
Oh, of course, I forgive you, Buck. I always do after these scenes.
If only you would strike me or punish me for my wickedness. I love you so much.
Mommy!
children are awake. I must go to them.
The complex story of Ruxton's abnormal personality was never revealed during the trial. He had an inferiority kink, which he carried throughout his life, and did his poor, unfortunate wife suffer for it. As an officer in the Royal Indian Medical Corps, he had associated with Englishmen on equal terms, on duty. But off parade, he'd imagined himself to be the subject of persecution. He fought against this with amazing pertinacity and made up his mind that he would carve out a career that the English would respect. It became an obsession. Back with me to number 2 Dalton Square, Lancaster, a few days later. The 15th of September, and the time 1 a.m.
You, ma'am?
Oh, yes, Mary. You made me jump. Whatever are you doing up at this time?
Shh. What's happened? It's him. He's been going on like a madman since the surgery closed. He's been threatening to kill you when he came back. I nearly went for the police, but I thought of the scandal, ma'am.
Oh, poor Mary. Didn't do anything to you, did he?
No, I locked myself in with the children. I'd have run away if it hadn't been for them. And you?
Oh, my poor child. You must leave here in the morning. It isn't a fit place for you. Give me your hand. You're trembling.
I'm not really afraid. It was the look in his eyes.
There. You should sleep with me. The children are all right, are they?
Yes, I've locked them in. Here's the key.
Oh, this is dreadful. I don't know what to do. If only I didn't love him. I've tried to be a good wife to him.
You've given him 3 lovely children. Oh, why don't you take him away? You've never seen him like he was tonight, shouting that you were something terrible. Oh, man.
I've managed him before, and I shall manage him now. He's my husband, Mary, but you must go.
I've set a bit of supper for you in the lounge.
Oh, I don't think I can manage anything, but it's very sweet of you, dear.
I think he's asleep now. I believe he took something.
Yes.
Were the illuminations nice in Blackpool?
Yes, they were lovely. I met my sisters, Mrs. Nelson and Mrs. Madden, you know. We all went along the front. They wouldn't let me get away until 11:30.
And was the tower all lit up?
Yes, it looked beautiful. Everyone was laughing and happy, walking along the front 20 and 30 abreast. There was music everywhere. Oh, it was like going into a different world. You must go there tomorrow, Mary. I'll give you your fare. You must see it.
It sounds wonderful. Would you like a cup of tea?
Yes, I would. I suddenly realized that I have a bit of a headache. Are there any aspirins about?
No, but I expect there's some in the doctor's surgery.
I'll go and have a look. Mary! What's happened in here? The furniture's overturned, drawers pulled out, bottles smashed on the floor.
It was him. I told you he'd been pretty bad.
But he smashed the place up. Didn't it wake the children?
Yes, that's when I went up to them.
But look at his papers. They're everywhere. His casebook. He's torn it up. Mary, what are all these letters? They're from India. Shut the door, Mary.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, never knew he had letters from India. Look at the postmarks. Some of them are quite recent. What's this? My ever dearest darling, I treasure any letter of yours, my dear, like jewels and pearls. Keep them under lock and key. People over here talk that you are leading a gay life in England. But I have complete confidence in you, and I know that you will keep your word to me. Until I die, I shall always think of the 6 happy months that I spent with you, with thousands of affections and kisses. Your ever-loving wife. His wife. But I'm his wife. Oh, no. No.
Oh, ma'am. But Daddy.
Love letters, all of them, from his wife in India. Oh, don't you realize what this means?
I'm not married to him. He's a bigamist. I'm a gentleman.
So you'll come back, you dirty, eh? You'll let me get my hands on you, eh?
You're a devil, you're not a man. You're a devil. I know all about you. You've got a wife in India. You're not fit to land.
Devil, am I, eh?
I'll kill you. I'll kill you. Oh! You've done it. I knew you'd do it. You've killed her. She's dead.
Come here, Mary Rogerson. I like you, but you seem too much. It is a shame, isn't it, Mary? You cannot get away. I've got you cornered. You could have made for the door, but it is too late. Do not cry. One little pain and it will be over, huh? I know where to use the knife. I'll make it quick for you, Mary.
He stands forward on the canvas of humanity for our special study. It's a little bit terrifying, isn't it? And it's real. But don't you think that perhaps the study of such a man as Ruxton may have helped us to understand the awful possibilities of the human mind? It has certainly helped the scientists of Scotland Yard to keep careful tabs on known criminals who are suspected of similar mental complexes. Now let us go back to September the 29th, 1935, just 14 days after the crime in Lancaster. The place is the little town of Moffat, 63 miles from Edinburgh. The scene is the local police station.
Very nice too, Sergeant, if I may say so.
I was just looking in the book. I see old McGuire's reported the loss of his bull terrier. That'll be the one that bit Mrs. McPherson, or I'm a Dutchman.
Aye, and I'm a Dutchman if I didn't hear Mr. McPherson's gun go off in McPherson's cowshed yesterday morning. I asked him what he was doing. I reckon I know now.
Did he have a gun license?
Aye.
A pity. I'm rather partial to bull terriers.
Sergeant.
Hello, what's the...
Sergeant, quick, down by the bridge.
Take it easy. What's the trouble?
My sister found it and then she came to me. I had a look after her all the way here.
What is it, man?
There's a parcel in the ravine and there's a human arm sticking out of it.
Scottish report for information CID just come in.
Oh, let me see it. Thank you. Moffat, eh? 4 parcels containing human remains found in ravine on Edinburgh-Carlisle Road. Stop. Remains consist of 2 heads. Good heavens. 2 legs, 2 arms, 2 hands, several large pieces of flesh, 4 or 5 large bones, and a number of smaller bones, portions of a human trunk, and the lower portions of 2 legs.
Inspector Green of the CID lost no time in visiting the scene of this gruesome discovery.
We've discovered 30 parcels so far, Inspector, and a dreadful job it's been.
Yes, I'm sure it has. You're sending them straight off to Professor Glaister as they come in, I take it?
That's right, sir. They're going straight up to the hospital in Edinburgh.
I understand that the murderers made every effort to destroy all means of identifying his victim.
They are hacked to pieces, sir. But I understand the remains are probably those of a man and a woman.
A man and a woman, eh? I see that one of the parcels was wrapped in a child's woolen rompers, another in an old green blouse, a quantity of cotton wool, a man's vest, some sheeting, and a number of newspapers.
They're not a lot of help, sir, but they do fix the date of the crime more or less. This Sunday one, you see, is dated September the 15th, so it couldn't have happened before then.
And a number of the parcels were found along the River Lynn.
That's a contributory stream of the River Annan, sir.
And the remains were well above the level of the water. Have you had any heavy rainstorms lately?
Aye, sir. Let me see. It rained heavily on September the 18th and again on the 19th.
Ah, so the packages would have been carried high up the banks of the stream by the swollen waters, and when the water subsided, they'd have been left there, wouldn't they?
You're right, sir.
So we can fix the date of the crime as being somewhere between the 15th and 19th.
Somewhere between the 15th and 19th of September, 2 people out of a population of 48 millions had disappeared. There was little hope of identifying the bodies, and the first step was to make inquiries regarding all missing persons in England and Scotland. The investigation proved unproductive. Hardly surprising, you say? But the investigations were working along other lines. All the shreds of newspapers which had been found in the packages had been sent along to their appropriate publishers. And at last, the first real clue was furnished by a Sunday paper on September the 15th. Published in London, this copy proved to be of a limited edition, and it had been circulated in the district of Lancaster. Investigations were concentrated on the Lancaster area, and within a matter of hours, police officers were making their reports to Captain Vann, the Chief Constable of Lancashire.
Come in. Yes, Inspector Green, got anything?
Yes, sir. I think I have. A girl named Mary Rochester is missing from her home. She's been employed as a nursemaid in Dr. Ruxton's house.
Have you seen the doctor?
No, sir. I went round, but both he and his wife were out. But I spoke to a neighbor, a Mrs. Oxley, who'd been charing for the Ruxtons, and she said the doctor had told her that Mrs. Ruxton had gone away for a holiday and taken Mary Rogerson with her.
I see. Find out the relationship between the doctor and his wife.
Right, sir.
Oh, and one more thing. You see those articles on the table?
Yes, sir. A green blouse and Kitty's rompers.
See if Mrs. Rogerson can identify them.
Mrs. Rogerson's Mary's stepmother, by the way, identified the green blouse immediately by a patch which she herself had sewn underneath the arm. In the words of Scotland Yard, the case was now developing satisfactorily. Reports were coming into the Chief Constable's office from different parts of the town. Remember, with a small population, news is apt to travel quickly.
Have you observed the constantly recurring date in these statements, Green?
You mean the 15th of September, sir?
Yes. We appear to know quite a lot about Dr. Ruxton's movements on that day. Read this.
Thank you, sir. At 6:30 a.m., Mrs. Oxley, the Ruxton's charwoman, was preparing to go to work when the doctor called and told her not to bother to go to his house that day.
Oh, Mrs. Oxley, my wife and Mary have gone away on a holiday to Edinburgh, and I am taking the children to Morecambe. But come as usual tomorrow.
At 10 a.m., Miss Roberts, a newsagent, called at Ruxton's house to deliver some papers. He answered the door himself. He seemed agitated and was holding his right hand against his body.
I am on my own today. Mary has gone up to Scotland.
At 11 a.m., a Mrs. Whiteside brought her son for a minor operation. It had already been arranged, and she was sharp on time. Again, he opened the door himself.
I am sorry, but I cannot perform the operation today as my wife is away in Scotland and there is only the maid and myself here. We are busy taking up the carpets and things ready for the decorators in the morning.
Anything else, sir?
Yes. At 2:30 p.m., he took his 3 children to the house of Mr. Anderson, a Morecambe dentist, a friend of the family, in whose charge he left them. And then at 6 o'clock, he seems to have lost his head. He went to the house of one of his patients, Mrs. Hampshire.
I am struggling to get my house ready for the decorators, Mrs. Hampshire. They are coming in the morning. My wife has gone to Blackpool, and Mary is away on holiday, and I have cut my hand very badly, and I wondered if you would help me.
He actually invited the lady to go back to his house with him and help him to straighten it out.
Inside the Ruxton house, the startled Mrs. Hampshire found chaos. The radio was blaring, stair carpets had been pulled up, straw was scattered everywhere, and plaster had been ripped from the walls. A supper meal laid in the lounge was untouched. Upstairs, doors were locked, and the bath was discolored a dirty yellow up to within a few inches of the top. His action in taking Mrs. Hampshire to the house was inexplicable, for, in consequence of what she saw there, she later became one of the principal witnesses for the Crown. Of course, he may have taken her there to save his reason. I personally should not have cared to enter such a house unescorted. Would you? Another point which amazed the police was Ruxton's visit to the Chief Constable.
Captain Vann, I have come to you for protection. Have you heard the stories in the town?
Sit down, Dr. Ruxton. Please calm yourself. Now, what is it?
They are saying that I know all about the Moffat bodies. They are saying that this horrible crime is connected with the disappearance of my wife and maid. Even the papers are making these awful suggestions. The publicity is ruining my practice. Captain Van, you must please publish that there is no connection between the two. You must help me to find my wife.
The chief constable consoled him to the best of his ability and proceeded with the investigations. Inspector Green was making good headway.
I've collected some fresh evidence, sir. Ruxton told a friend that his wife had gone away in his car, not returned, but he allowed the car to be seen in Lancaster. He's also invented a totally untrue story that Mary Rogerson was going to have a baby and had disappeared for that reason. When I asked him how he knew, he replied, by her eyes and other symptoms. I'm certain he was lying, sir.
The case for the public prosecutor was approaching completion. At the Crown Laboratory in Edinburgh, Dr. Glaister and a team of experts had assembled large parts of the two bodies. Artificial teeth were made and fitted to secure an indication of what the mouths had looked like in life. In all, 20 sets of 250 pictures were completed, and these included photographs taken from an overhead scaffolding after portions of the bodies had been assembled on the floor. By the 11th of October, Ruxton knew that he was a doomed man. He even approached Inspector Green.
He took me by the shoulders and shouted as he flourished a newspaper in my face.
Look at this, Inspector Green, look at it. Why do they accuse me of the Moffat murder? Somebody will be putting a dead body on my doorstep soon, and I shall be accused of killing it.
On the following day, October the 12th, 1935, the chief constable requested Ruxton to go to his office, saying that it was thought he could help in finding his wife and the maid. Dr. Buck Ruxton never returned from this visit. He was detained, and early on the morning of the 13th, he was charged with the murder of Mary Rogerson. There followed weekly remands until November the 5th.
During this time, we were making a minute examination of the house in Dalton Square. The story of what had happened there was slowly unfolding. We completed our evidence with the discovery in a locked drawer of the letters from Ruxton's legal wife in India. Here, then, was the last link. On November the 5th, Ruxton was charged with the murder of his wife, Isabella Ruxton, and the maid, Miss Mary Rogerson.
On December the 13th, he was committed for trial on both charges at the Manchester Assizes. In his charge to the jury, Mr. Justice Singleton referred to the distinguished body of evidence in the highest terms. He concluded by saying to the jury,
Gentlemen of the jury, you have heard the evidence, but if, in your opinion, there is any doubt in this case, the prisoner must have the benefit of that doubt. But if there is no doubt, then your verdict must be equally clear and justice must be done.
There was no doubt, and Ruxton was found guilty and sentenced to death on March the 13th, 1936. The sentence was duly carried out on the 12th of May at Strangeways Prison in Manchester. And a little footnote in this case. Throughout the trial, Ruxton behaved like a rag doll. He wept and protested his innocence. At the moment the square piece of black cloth was placed on the head of Mr. Justice Singleton, he became still and composed. As the judge concluded the formal sentence, Ruxton, with upraised arm, gave him the salute of an Oriental warrior. Then, turning sharp left, he gave a similar salute to an astonished jury before warders handed him away. And the written confession in the sealed envelope? It was not published until several days after his execution. In it, all he said was, I killed Mrs. Ruxton in a fit of temper. I thought she'd been with a man. Mary Rogerson was present at the time. I had to kill her. This is Clive Brooke. You've probably heard the expression, off the rails. It usually signifies that somebody has let the side down by descending to a little blackmailing, or perhaps a touch of arson. In fact, going off the rails is usually taken as a sign of being not quite straight. I'm using the term, however, in quite a different sense. Today I'm going to tell you something about criminals who, when they're off the rails, are on the rails. Perhaps that sounds a little ambiguous. Let me put it in a simpler way. This program is about the kind of crime and the kind of criminal who is most at home on the railway. Let's start off this Secrets of Scotland Yard program with a few facts about robbery on the railway.
In 1938, claims against the railways for stolen goods costing about £180,000. Today, similar claims are costing over £2.5 million a year. As an inspector of the railway police, that's not a fact I'm particularly proud about. All the same, it goes to prove that robbery on the railways is a growing business. Our job is to stop it growing.
Almost half the claims were for the theft of tobacco, wine, spirits, textiles, boots and shoes, articles which have the greatest black market value.
Investigating them is taking up much of the working time of more than 1,000 railway officials.
Hello? What are you doing with that crate? Hey, just moving it. Moving it where? What's that to do with you? On a railway porter. Oh, is that so? What's the look at that badge of yours? Here, let go of my crate there. I think you'd better come along. Oh, no, you don't.
Pilferage has ceased to be a proper description of railway thieving. Wholesale looting is the only term appropriate. The railway police estimate that about 60% of the looting is carried out by organized gangs, usually not more than 6 in number. Scotland Yard has met cunning with cunning, but those who specialize in robbery on the railway are always up to new tricks. Now listen to this story. It occurred not so long ago. A goods train was puffing slowly up an incline on its run from Nottingham to Chesterfield. Standing by a plate-laying hut at the crest of the hill, you might have seen a small gang of workmen. Apparently, they were waiting for the train to pass before resuming work on the line.
All right, chaps, it's the 5th van after the engine. Remember? The 5th van. Charlie, Jim, wait till I give the word jump. Just the way we rehearsed it. Okay, Jack. All right, jump. Okay, boys. Pass me a crowbar. Here you are. Now, give us a hand. There we go. Ah, that's got it. Now go on, in we go. Good luck, Chief. We're going to go.
Once inside the van, which contained hundreds of pounds worth of cigarettes, the gang got to work. As soon as the train left the tunnel, they pushed open the door and threw down the embankment over 1 million cigarettes, packed neatly in cartons. And here comes the organization. Waiting on the road by the side of the embankment were a couple of lorries.
All right, boys, get busy. Go on there, load them up. Right away there. Things are ready. Let's get going.
We didn't find the cigarettes were missing until the train was 100 miles further up the line. Obviously, the men who boarded the train must have had a good idea of what was in the van. They knew exactly where the train would slow down, and they calculated the whole job in such a way, proving they were professionals at the game. These men got away with it. But it doesn't always go that way. Listen to this case. It took place a few months ago, late one night at one of London's largest goods yards. The Cricklewood sighting.
Hello there. Anybody about? Who's that? Evening, watchman. Evening, mate. Sorry to be so late, chum. I'm afraid you'll have to open up these gates. What's the idea? It's 12:30. I know that, mate. But there's a load of one of these vans in the siding which is wanted extra special. And if we don't get it down to the docks by 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, somebody's going to lose a few £1,000. We'll have to see your papers. Don't you worry. Everything's in order. Here, take a look at this. It seems all right. You've got permission? Well, that's what it says. All right, I'll open up. Well, don't be long about it. Come on, then. We'll be coming out in about an hour. All right. I'm coming. Come on now, open up these gates. Now, hold on a moment. I've got some friends to see you. What do you mean, friends?
Hello, chum. Fancy meeting you.
Look out, boys! Wilson!
Yes, it was the Ruzzers, the police, to you and me. And, as the inspector says, the brute was on the other foot. The watchman felt suspicious about the whole thing, and he'd contacted the railway police. He was right. They were stolen goods, and the papers were forged. 7 men were picked up in the fight which followed, but the leader got away.
Of course, not all railway robberies are as ambitious and were organized as the two you've just heard about. The simplest, and yet one of the most effective methods of looting, has been for railway employees to stick false labels on parcels and packages in transit. One porter readdressed parcels to his own home. A relabeling conspiracy at Waterloo Station was broken up through the vigilance of an employee.
I've got a couple of parcels for you.
Oh, shall I sign for them?
Yeah, that's right, miss. Sign here.
My daughter's wedding. She's having such a lot of presents.
Yes, so I noticed.
Bring them in here, will you? Thanks a lot. Good morning.
Daughter's wedding. That's funny. I can understand her getting a mangle. But what's she doing with 24 electric light lamps? Don't seem to be the sort of wedding present she'd get. I wonder if there's something fishy going on.
And from wondering, was only a step further to talking to the railway police about it. It was found that this was just one of the ways in which a very astute gang had been robbing the railways. It was not the only method they used. It was found that packages in transit had been redirected under other names to small stations, where they were later collected by members of a gang, one in a chauffeur's uniform. The final destination of the stolen goods was a flat in Soho, where the thieves operated in a quick sales showroom and office. The flat was raided and the ringleaders caught. I've come to have a look round.
Who sent you?
Charlie.
Ah, that's all right. Come on in.
Well, what do you want to say? Cigarettes, radio sets, or was it butter?
I think I've seen quite enough. I have a search warrant here.
Here, what's a gun?
This is not a game. This is a raid.
Other goods worth hundreds of pounds were recovered, but the police knew that for a long period beforehand, the gang got away with much more than that. These modern highwaymen are certainly people of resource. But if you think you've heard the limit of their ingenuity, just wait and see. Before turning to the organization of the railway police, let's take a few more examples of crime on the railway.
In a railway yard in Scotland at one time, whole truckloads of coal were systematically rerouted to the yard of a small merchant who was in a swim.
4 porters at Woking took advantage of a consignment to set up a nylon emporium and sell the stockings through station taxi drivers.
Railway police bored 2 holes in a wooden fence by a railway arch in Suffolk and watched loot worth £2,500 being carried into a thieves' den. 9 men and a woman were convicted. One man had a puppy in a crate, which began barking, and the police overheard him say, "Shut up. You'll have to get used to being here."
Now listen to the story of just an ordinary member of the railway police. He was on duty at a goods yard at Burton-on-Trent one dark evening. His name was Railway Police Constable Robert Cameron.
Hi there. What do you want?
I'd like to take a look at that lorry, if you don't mind.
What lorry you got?
I'm a member of the railway police.
Yeah, I don't care if you're a member of the Marines. On the night.
You'll still have to stop, I'm afraid.
Oh, will I? Oh. Come on, boys. Tie him up and leave him in that shed over there.
He feigned unconsciousness while he was dragged into a warehouse and tied up. When the thieves had gone, leaving the whiskey behind, he struggled free and crawled to a shunter's cabin. Today, Railway Police Constable Robert Cameron wears the British Empire Medal. Perhaps the most amusing conclusion to any incident of pure pilferage was an occasion when a porter at Crewe danced into a mirror one Sunday and saw a man in a quiet corner of another platform undo his braces and turn slowly round and round. A chase down a lane followed until the man's trousers fell to the ground and he halted sheepishly in his underpants with ring upon ring of twist tobacco, stolen from a crate in the station, wound round his middle.
Police officers at Euston saw 2 men in porters' uniforms examining goods loaded on barrows ready for dispatch, and knew that neither was employed in handling parcels traffic. While they watched, one of the men removed labels from 3 bales, which the second man then transferred to a smaller barrow. This was wheeled out to a point near the station cloakroom. The man walked away, but returned a few minutes later with 2 other men who began loading the barrels into a waiting motor car. All were arrested. The barrels were worth £300.
Before the British Railways were nationalised, each company maintained its own police force, led in many cases by ex-members of Scotland Yard. Today, the railway police is a complete force of its own, charged with the particular responsibility of policing and protecting thousands of buildings and many thousands of miles owned by British Railways. The men who discharge this duty undergo a special training. They learn most of the tricks we've told you about today in this program, and they cooperate with the regular police force and Scotland Yard to put a stop to every form of crime on the railways. Perhaps the most unpopular of all railway criminals are those who play for the high stakes and endeavour to rob His Majesty's mails.
Of course, there were some classic mailbag robberies of the past, but today's stories read like fiction. A £10,000 mailbag theft last year from a Glasgow Euston train remains unsolved. The empty bags were found on an embankment 70 yards away. The disappearance of nearly £40,000 in £5 and £1 notes in transit between a city bank and Scotland is still being investigated.
A litter bag containing £6,000 vanished during a 60-minute road and rail journey between Liverpool and Wigan. And when a packet which contained £2,000 for a Manchester bank was opened, the contents had miraculously changed to wooden blocks. To be strictly accurate, the theft of mail bags comes under the General Post Office and is not really the railway's responsibility. But it's their worry all the same. Here's the story of one of the most classic of mailbag robberies of all time.
The scene is one of the sorting vans on a world-famous night mail train. Leaving Euston Station in London every evening just before midnight, it reaches Scotland the following morning. While most of Britain is asleep, this train speeds through the heart of the country. The nerve centre of the train is the sorting van, where almost 100 men are at work all night sorting Scottish mail picked up at London and dividing it up into the various regional areas so that when it reaches Scotland, it will be ready for distribution in the big Scottish cities by the second delivery that morning. Most of the men who work on this train have been in the service of the GPO for a number of years, but naturally from time to time there is a new face among them. Take tonight, for instance, the young fellow over there at the rack in the corner. He's only been on the job for a few weeks, and he's just qualified to work on his own without the guidance of an older sorter.
Edinburgh, Aberdeen, Glasgow, Inverness, Edinburgh.
One by one, he sorts the postal packets into the pigeonholes in front of him. Monotonous work, but still demanding all his attention. But tonight, this young sorter is not really thinking about his job. He's thinking about something else.
Inverness, Aberdeen, 5 minutes to 2. I have more to go. And then...
Yes, 5 minutes to go, and then...
Right for two. Right for two, boys.
Together with half of the sorters in the corridor, our young friend moves into the next car, where a primitive canteen is set up and cups of tea are being poured out. He makes some excuse and moves on further down the car. Perhaps he's going to wash his hands, or perhaps... It has taken 3 months of plotting and planning to obtain that key. The key to the van which contains the registered mail. He worked quickly, 3 bags and no more he took out. But those bags had been chosen carefully. The contents were known to be negotiable banknotes, a rich prize. Now comes the cleverest part of the trick. 3 other bags, in appearance precisely the same as the original registered mail bags, had been concealed by our friend in a suitcase which he had brought aboard the train. The exchange was made and the mail van locked up once again. Everything seemed perfect. When the train came into Glasgow station, it looked as if nothing could go wrong.
Good evening.
Good evening.
You're Robert Staunton, aren't you?
That's right.
I wonder if I could trouble you to come along to the office for a few minutes.
What do you want me for?
Just a few words. Bring that case along with you.
Yes, sir.
Come on in. Now, Mr. Staunton, would you mind opening up that case for me?
How do you know?
Well, this is the one question I cannot answer. You see, if I told you, you'd not believe me.
And how did he know? It was really very simple. But as you've learned from these programs, it's the simple things that make the crook's game a mug's game. Obviously, the railway realizes that GPO sorters on the trains, if they should have crooked disposition, have a number of opportunities for putting some original ideas into practice. For that reason, every new sorter, while he's training, is screened very thoroughly by the railway police or the GPO. Our friend Staunton and his companions took all the obvious precautions. Trouble was, one of the precautions was just a little too obvious. Mr. Staunton had given his address during his training period as a lodging house in London. As a routine matter, the police checked up on his character with his landlady. His landlady, dear soul, had given him an excellent character and had mentioned, as a matter of fact, that Staunton had frequent visits from his widowed mother. The widowed mother was a bit of camouflage for Mr. Staunton to contact his companions. Unfortunately, in his original application for the job, Mr. Staunton had described himself as an orphan. Starting from that very small fact,
the railway police had spun a long line of thread, which led eventually to the station master's office in Glasgow and the arrest of Staunton. Just another crook who thought that the way to easy money was along the railway lines.
I'd like to add a historic note. Of course, there has been crime on the railways ever since there were railways, which is well over 100 years. Who was the first railway criminal? Well, no one could say for certain, but I can tell you about one of the very first men to realize the possibility of crime on the railways, and what happened to him. It was long, long ago, when a trip by train was still a great event. Passengers traveled in open cars, which today we would consider little better than trucks. The guard wore a top hat, and the engine driver wore one too. The most unpleasant part of the journey was when the train came to a tunnel. There were no lights in the carriages. Worse still, there were no windows. So they soon filled up with smoke and grime. You could imagine the coughing and confusion. Well, it was this very confusion which gave our friend, a pioneer in his class, the great idea. You see, his profession was that of a pickpocket, and it occurred to him that never was there greater opportunity to practice his craft than aboard one of these newfangled railway trains when it entered a long tunnel. He went about it very carefully. He studied the trains and the passengers from all angles, and for some time pursued a most successful career. Everybody was far too concerned with their comfort to notice his activities, and as thefts were reported, it was far too late to do anything about it. Then, at last, the railway company decided that they had to take some action regarding the numerous complaints they were getting. To every poison there's an antidote, and to every crime there's an answer. Well, just as usual, our friend the pickpocket boarded a train one day, little knowing that he was followed by a detective employed by the company. Off went the train. They came to the tunnel, and our friend prepared to go about his business. He turned his attention to the man sitting next to him, a big, well-dressed but simple-looking gentleman who he picked out as a likely-looking victim. His hand was busy abstracting a solid-looking watch from his pocket, and suddenly there was a terrific roar of steam on the engine, and then a sudden flash of light. And what is it? The engine driver had no sooner entered the tunnel than, on prearranged plan, he reversed and come out again. And as for the simple-looking gentleman, yes, you're right, he was the detective. Ah, dear, the way of a pioneer was always a hard one, and our friend's case proves that there's no exception to the rule.
As I told you, not all railway crime is quite so ambitious. In 50% of railway cases, the word pilferage is applicable. There have been too many examples of criminal favor women, some of whom have sacrificed 30 to 40 years' service and pension rights for thefts of soap, a packet of chocolate, or a pair of stockings. An engine driver took coal from his engine to swap for eggs. A man-with guard rifled suitcases in a van and regularly threw stolen goods into his own garden as the train passed his line-side home. Fur coats, typewriters, vacuum cleaners, and a piano accordion were among the goods pilfered in 1948. Out of 8,535 larceny prosecutions by the railway police last year, 2,287 were of railway theft. Thus, 3 outsiders were convicted to every 1 railway man. Statistically, this means that only 1 in every 300 rail workers is found guilty of theft.
I believe that, don't you? And just because this program has told you about some of the crimes that are on the railways, I hasten to add that a trip by a railway in Britain is one of the safest ways of travelling. But while you're about it, keep an eye on your bag. After all, if everybody were just a little more careful, most of the crooks in this world would be looking for new ways of earning their living. And it would just help to avoid that temptation to go off the rails.
From the Longhorn Radio Network, Adventure and Mystery, classic series from radio's golden past. Presenting Clive Brooks in The Secrets of Scotland Yard.
How do you do? This is Clive Brooks. Do you want to make some money? Do you, in these days of austerity, want those little luxuries that mean so much? You want to be the first to pay for a round of drinks and give the barman a good tip as well? Or do you want to stand on the sidelines, unable to do a thing for want of cash? I think I know your answer. Well, if you really do want to make some money, you must procure some plaster of Paris, solder, tin, bismuth, pewter, and a jam jar. I'm afraid you must also have a little capital. It takes money to make money. Not much capital, say $50. You won't need anything else. Go ahead and make as much money as you need for the day. That's good, don't you think? Also, I feel that you couldn't strictly be asked to pay income tax. You could point out that you'd made the money yourself and that the mint had not been troubled. On the other hand, I must warn you that you stand a risk of being sent to prison for life. In the old days, the penalty was death.
On this 5th day of July, in the year of our Lord 1721, at Taiwan, Barbara Spencer, apprehended in the gross and treasonable offense of falsely and secretly manufacturing shilling pieces in great number, to be strangled unto death, and then burnt at the stake. Hear ye! Hear ye!
Yes, Barbara Spencer in 1721 was the first person ever executed for counterfeiting. By the way, perhaps you'll be surprised to hear there's hardly one counterfeiting case in police records in which a woman is not involved. Isn't that so, Inspector?
That's right, Mr. Brooke. Women always seem to be chosen as agents for the coiners.
Ah, yes, agents. Perhaps I should explain to listeners that fake money usually goes through 4 stages in its criminal career. Firstly, it is coined by its maker. The coiner gives it to his agent or go-between. She, for it's generally a she, sells it to the buyer, and he in turn employs a 4th person to pass the coin off as currency. Coiner, agent, buyer, and passer. In legal phraseology, the passer is the one who utters the counterfeit. Uttering in this connection meaning to use as currency a forged or altered instrument or coin, knowing it to be forged. The passer very rarely knows who the coiner of the fake money is. With a respectable business as a front to his activities, the coiner carries on his criminal ventures in secret and well-hidden places and is not easily discovered. But he doesn't always escape the law. Now take the case of Thomas Craven, alias Cooper, alias Tom the Tailor, who carried on his trade in Bethnal Green, a suburb of London. In the same street, there was a tobacconist's shop. It was here that something occurred one day that was eventually to put Tom the Tailor in prison.
Good morning, sir.
Oh, good morning. 2 ounces of green gem tobacco, please.
2 ounces, sir? Here you are.
Thank you. How much is that?
3 shillings, please, sir.
Let's see, 2, 3... There you are.
Just a moment, sir. This is a bad foreign.
Is it really? I say, you're quite right. I wonder who gave me that. Anyhow, here's another. That's a good one.
Yes, that's a good one. Good day, sir.
Good day.
Freddie? Freddie?
Yes, sir?
Mind the shop a few minutes, will you? A bloke's just tried to pass off a dead coin on me for the 2nd time this week. This time I'm going to follow him. And I'll tell the whole story to the first police I see.
Oh, no. Good luck, sir.
I say, Constable.
Yes, sir?
My name's Black. That's my tobacconist shop across the way. You see that guy in the grey suit looking in that window over there? There. See? He's been joined by a woman.
Yes?
Well, twice this week he's tried to pass off a dud coin on me. I've been following him since he left my shop just now.
A lot of those floating about nowadays.
Yes, but he used the same words each time. I think he's in the racket himself, and he knew it was a dud.
Oh, you may be right. Where's the woman he's talking to? Well, I don't know, huh?
Yes. That's his looking piece of goods. He's just given him something.
We've had that up on 1 or 2 charges before. Wish I was in plain clothes. I'll keep after her.
Let me know if anything happens, will you?
Yeah, right you are.
The policeman followed the young lady. She went into Tom the Tailor's shop. When she reappeared a few moments later, she went straight to the street corner and there met another man, to whom she again passed something. This time the police constable waited no longer, but took her along to the police station. There she was searched. 30 fake florins were found to be sewn in the hem of her skirt. She was obviously the agent for some counterfeiter. But whom? The police constable, remembering that she'd visited Tom the tailor's shop just before her arrest, decided to give the old chap a call. Tom was a well-known character in the neighborhood and had established himself as likable and kindly.
Morning, Tom.
Oh, good morning, officer. Just a moment. I'll ring for my assistant.
Oh, you needn't do that, Tom. I only wanted a few words with you.
Well, in case someone else comes in wanting to be served.
Tom, a young lady came in here about an hour ago, dressed in blue. Did you serve her?
Young lady? Yes, of course. That'll be Miss Pritchard. She comes to ask whether her father's jacket was ready yet.
Her father's jacket?
Yes, that's... unfortunately, I hadn't finished the sleeve yet, but why do you ask, officer?
Oh, nothing, Tom. Just wanted to know what she was up to. I say, your assistant seems to be a long time answering your bell.
Yes, he's a lazy scoundrel.
What about taking the ground, Tom?
Oh, officer, not at all. You know the way down.
Yes, all right, thanks. Don't let me disturb you.
The suspicious police constable went down into the basement. But the scene that met his eyes was exactly what you'd expect to see in the basement of a tailor's shop. Long benches, yards of material, and several cutters at work with scissors and needle. But the constable wasn't satisfied, but he was sure there was something going on in the shop. He turned the matter over and over in his mind, until suddenly he jumped on what he knew must be the answer. The next day he paid another visit to Tom the tailor.
Morning, Tom.
Oh, good morning, officer. One moment, I'll...
Oh, Tom, you won't ring. It's just what I don't want you to do. You don't mind, do you?
Well, why? I just want to ring for my assistant, officer, in case some other customer comes in and there's no one to serve.
Are you positive that's the reason you want to ring, Tom?
What other reason could there be, officer?
That's just what I'm going to find out. If you'll stand aside and let me inspect your basement once more.
Why, you...
No, Tom. No foul language, if you please. Let me pass, will you? Yeah, that's right. All right, you fellas, don't try anything on. You're caught red-handed.
Blimey, the police. I never heard the bell.
No, you didn't hear the bell. I'm afraid I prevented old Tom from ringing it. He tricked me that way yesterday. Got a set up yours down here. Furnishing board, plaster of Paris, silver solution, lamp black, batter racks. One might almost think his gentlemen have been doing some coining. All right, I suggest you all come quietly. All right, 3 other men waiting for you outside, so up the stairs in quick time, please.
And so Tom the tailor's coining establishment was discovered, and old Tom was sent to penal servitude. Now it's time for us to examine more closely the methods of the counterfeiter, and there's no better place to do this than in that morgue of criminal instruments, the Black Museum of Scotland Yard.
This might interest you, Mr. Brooks. One of the earliest counterfeit coins.
It's astounding that anyone should be taken in by that. Cut with a pair of scissors from a sheet of brass and silvered over, and passed off as a shilling. The coiner's methods have certainly improved since those days. These coins in the next case, they're practically perfect.
They are perfect.
I know, don't tell me. They're pattern pieces.
That's right, sir.
A pattern piece. In other words, a genuine piece of money from which the coiner takes his cast in plaster of Paris. So you see, you do have to have money to make money. And into that cast he pours whatever metal he uses. Solder, tin, bismuth, and of course, most of all, pewter. Yes, you may be surprised to know that the best foundation for a counterfeit coin is obtained from pewter beer mugs. In fact, whenever the theft of pewter pots is traced, it's 10 to 1 that the thief is in league with the coiners. A certain publican in Whitechapel, London, will vouch for that.
My name's Bill Carey. I run the Green Man pub down in Whitechapel. It's a fine old place with plenty of tradition, if you know what I mean. Though there's one tradition we don't keep with anymore. the pewter pot cleaning competition. You see, in the old days, George, the potman at the King's Head pub across the way, used to come over to the Green Man once a year, and we used to see who could clean the largest number of pewter pots in an hour. I remember our last contest. It was about 10 years ago on a Sunday morning.
Go on, Bill, you're winning.
On with it, George. You're blind as usual.
Oh, anyway. Yes, I'll give him Bill. Bill's the winner again. That's 2 years running.
Race, Bill. Thanks ever so for letting me come along. My, you two are certainly quick with your hands.
Yeah, Blimey, is that the right time? I must get back to King's Head. The boss will be furious.
Oh, cheerio all. Bye, George. See you soon. We'll fix the date for the next contest.
Yeah, rather. Cheerio.
Well, we never did have any more contests. When the missus and me comes to count the pots that night, as we always did after a big day, we found there were a dozen missing. That was bad enough. Well, what was even worse was the number of phony 2-shilling pieces and half-crowns we took over the counter for weeks to come.
And undoubtedly, most of them came from the pewter pots that Bill and Jimmy had raced to clean on the previous Sunday. The pewter would be melted, poured into the mold taken from the pattern piece, the two sides of the cast being kept together by clamps of hoop iron to secure a firm impression, filed, edged, and continually checked to get as near as possible the weight of a true coin. And then would come the most important process of all, silvering. The process of silvering coins is very similar to that of plating knives, spoons, and forks. Into the vat is dipped what is called a battery rack.
There is some over here, sir.
Ah, yes, it's rather good specimen. Simply a long piece of thick wire bent into a series of twists and turns in order to hold about a dozen coins at a time, and made in such a way that no coin is touched by the wire in more than 3 places, and all on the edge. These are well made. Whom did they belong to?
Sidney Attway, sir, the master coiner of Fulham.
Ah, yes, he did everything conscientiously. We might do far worse than study his methods, don't you think?
We have a full case of his belongings over here.
Good. Let's get acquainted with Mr. Sidney Attway, the conscientious coiner. Sidney Attway was one of the most scientific coiners of modern times. He approached the whole subject in a most artistic fashion. Coining to him was more a hobby than a profession, and to it he devoted all the loving care that some give to stamp collecting, others to photography, others still to bird watching. His real business was the pawning of articles bought cheaply at sales and auctions, only if the pawnbroker offered a profit, of course. But he had many other interests as well, as we well know from his diaries and private papers.
Went to a cookery lecture today. An attractive young lady gave us a complicated recipe for old English trifles. I saw in the dress book of all the English taverns in Paris. The following shops are those at which furniture may be had on hire. Prescriptions. 1, for removing surplus hair from the back of the neck. 2, the right treatment for headaches. 3, the proper ingredients for making a highly satisfactory mustard plaster. And 4, a certain cure for sluggish liver.
But it was from a brooch pinned to the lapel of his wife's coat that gave Sidney Attway the idea to start the activities for which he is famous. It was Coronation year in London, and Mrs. Attway had stopped on her way home from shopping to buy one of those souvenir brooches that everyone was wearing that year. Her husband, being an extremely mean gentleman, as most crooks are, was furious when he found that she'd been spending the housekeeping money on herself.
Gilday, what's that you've got pinned to your coat?
Oh, Sidney, don't be angry. I couldn't resist it. It's one of the souvenirs they're selling in honor of the coronation. I thought it looked rather nice. Did you like it?
Let me see it.
Oh, now look what you've done. Why can't you keep your temper? You've torn my coat. Oh, why couldn't you let me unpin the brooch? I'd have shown it to you.
2 sixpences on a pin.
Yes. You see, they're bright new sixpences, minted this year.
How much did you pay for this?
1 6. So you see, it's only cost me 6pence, really, because the coins always were worth their money.
Get downstairs, wasting my money on trash like this. If ever I catch you buying yourself things out of the housekeeping funds again, I'll take a stick to your back.
Oh, you're horrible. I don't know why I said it.
Fine thing. 1 6 for 2 tanners on a pin. What a... Wait a bit, though. What a way to make a profit. A few bright sixpences, a drill to make the holes, and a nice-looking safety pin. Or, why should they be real sixpences? Why not make my own? Sell them as souvenirs, not claiming them to be real money. Only 1 in 10 suckers will ask whether it's genuine. And there's no trouble attached, as long as I don't pretend they're anything but my own make. Yes.
Attway didn't stop at sixpences. He made shillings and half-crowns and sold them as coronation souvenirs. When asked to pay 3 shillings for a half-a-crown medal, the purchaser would usually pass over the money, saying, oh, well, I can always use the coin if I'm hard up. But if he ever tried to use it as currency, he would soon discover his error. Having now got interested in the coining business, Sidney Attway went about learning the methods thoroughly. Whenever he came up against a particular snag in the processing of the metal into coins, he would write to one of the daily papers.
To the editor, Evening Herald, Fleet Street, London. Dear sir, have any of your readers any useful hints and suggestions as to the best way to make an electric battery? If so, perhaps you would be good enough to publish their letters in your correspondence column. To the editor, Daily Gazette, London. Dear sir, I hope you will publish this letter. I want to find out from any knowledgeable readers the simplest way to make solder from silver.
There were generally numerous replies. Few people can resist the temptation to air whatever specialized knowledge they possess. And Sidney Attway's possessions in the Black Museum include a scrapbook full of newspaper articles and letters, all most helpful to him in his work. Of course, he bought the standard chemistry books as well and marked all the relevant passages. He evolved his own recipe for the silvering of coins. If any one of you are taking notes, I should perhaps mention that the process takes years of practice and many disappointments before it yields any reward.
When the coins have been removed from the mold, I put them on battery racks of my own making and dip them into the vat. Coins made from Britannia metal, tin or pewter, are not dropped into acid before plating, but into a very strong and boiling, repeat, boiling, hot solution of pure caustic potash. I then scratch the coins with a small brush made specially for this purpose, and then plunge them straight into cyanide of silver solution at about 190 degrees Fahrenheit. An electric current from a battery is then run through the vat until the coins begin to receive a thin coating. Then I plate them in the ordinary way to give them a full amount of silvering required. And then on to the burnishing board.
The burnishing board is a piece of wood on which the coins are set, being kept in place with pins and brushed over with an old scrubbing brush on which some ordinary lamp black has been applied. This process relieves the fake pieces of any undue brightness and consequently suspicion. Mr. Attway used the seat of an ordinary wooden kitchen chair as his burnishing board. It's in the case in the Black Museum which contains his other paraphernalia. 17 bowls, 1 battery, 2 ladles, plaster of Paris, melting pot, plate of sand, brushes, drill, 9 bottles of chemical, another battery made out of a 3-pound jam jar, files, clamps. What else?
Well, sir, there's some of the fake money that was found at his home when he was arrested. 200 half-crowns, 100 florins, 150 shillings, and 200 sixpences.
What a collection. He certainly was coining money. And that's not counting the fake currency he must have put into circulation during his 17 years' run as a successful auditor. A few more Sydney Atways and England would really be in danger of inflation. Yeah, a fascinating character. On his arrest, he turned to his captors with a disarming smile.
Well, well, gentlemen, I hope you will tell the Royal Mint of my exploits. They should consider my career as a great compliment to themselves. After all, is not imitation the sincerest form of flattery?
We have now examined the methods of making a counterfeit coin. What happens then? How does it get into your pocket, or mine? When the coin is satisfied that he can get no nearer to the real thing, he wraps the coins in tissue paper, generally parcels of a dozen, with a piece of paper between each coin to prevent jingling when they are being passed from hand to hand. The woman agent now takes the parcels and sells them to buyers either in public houses or in street corners.
Morning, bit of it, Charlie. Well, up, sir. Could I buy you one, miss?
I'll have the same, thanks very much.
Make it two, Charlie. Oh, no.
You're late. I was told to pass.
Oh, I was being followed. Had to dodge around a bit. Got the stuff?
What would I be here for if I hadn't? The price has gone up, though.
Why? With a profit, you make up 2 marbles. Thank you, sir. 1 and 5 cents. Righto. Give Bob those. Give me some change, will you? Roger, sir. Yours, it. 8 and 7 change. Thanks.
A real 10 bob note you gave him?
Of course, you don't think I'm trying to penny business here, do you? You were saying the price has gone up, what, 2?
Well, I've got 3 packets of half-pound, a dozen each. It'll cost you 10 shillings. That's £4, 10 shillings for half a quid.
Oh, I suppose I'll have to buy it. I've got 4 pots creaming for more funds. Here you are. It's 10 bob.
Something fun, though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, thanks, they're okay.
Of course they are. I told you I wouldn't ever try any funny business in here, didn't I?
Oh, yes, you're so honest. Well, ta-ra for now.
And now the buyer will pass on the fake currency to his employees, who in turn will pass it off on the shopkeepers and the general public. How? Well, there are several methods. For instance, a woman will go into a shoe shop carrying several parcels. She will pass some time selecting a suitable pair of shoes, and then she'll prepare the ground passing something else.
Dear, I have so much to carry. Could you deliver the shoes?
Certainly, madam. At what address?
12 Blakely Road, Mrs. Adams. Oh, and could your boy bring them in an hour's time? Otherwise, I shan't be there.
Very well, madam.
The delivery boy turns up at 12 Blakely Road an hour later and is met by the woman just outside the gate. When she tells him that she is Mrs. Adams, he hands over the shoes to her and asks her to sign the receipt.
Please? Janet Adams. There. How much do I owe you?
37 and 6pence, please, ma'am.
Mr. Silver, I'm afraid. Oh, and there's another shilling for yourself.
Now, thank you, ma'am.
Only when the delivery boy hands the money over to his employer do they realize that he has been given 5 or 6 false half-crowns in the cash. And, of course, there is no Mrs. Adams living at the address. After all, let's admit that we are not as careful as we should be about the money we handle. And the opportunities for a swindler to pass off his counterfeits must be extremely numerous. Perhaps you're one of those who make it a rule always to count your change. But how many times do you inspect each coin to make sure that it's a genuine article? Not very often. Sometimes there is no apparent cause to inspect your change, as in the following incident, which occurs in various shapes and forms about once a day in different parts of the country, generally in public houses and quite often in the cocktail bars of expensive West End hotels.
I say, Gorman.
Yes, coming, sir.
I'm not service nowadays, even in one's own hotel.
Really sorry to It's full today, as you can see.
Want to get more help?
Well, I think I'd like better, sir, but it's not so easy to come by.
Well, perhaps you can manage to supply me with both Scotch and soda.
Certainly, sir.
Oh, by the way, did Lord Milburn leave a message here for me? My name's Burley, James Burley.
There wasn't any message there for me, sir.
Extraordinary. He swore he'd leave a note if he couldn't make it.
Perhaps at the desk, sir.
Oh, good idea. I'll try there when I've had my drink.
Yes, here it is, sir. Double Scotch. Say when for the soda, will you, sir?
That'll do. How much do I owe you? That'll be 5 shillings, Peter. No. There's a pound there. Thank you, sir. $15 shillings change. There are, sir. Oh, I say, you've given me all silver. Makes my pocket so heavy. Haven't you a 10 shilling note? Oh, yes. Sorry, sir. There you are, sir. Ah, there's 10 shillings of your silver back. Oh, and buy yourself a drink with this.
Oh, thank you very much, sir. Did you spot the passing? I expect so. You were listening for it. In changing the 10 shillings worth of silver for a note, the fictitious Sir James had substituted a few fake florins and shillings for the real ones. And that's coining for you. A woman gets a pair of shoes at a reduced price, a man gets a free drink and perhaps a bit over, and the coiner runs the risk of penal servitude for life. Is it worth it? Well, do you want to make some money? Oh, that's where we came in. By the way, the simplest and most effective way to detect a fake coin is to bite it. If it produces a gritty sensation on your teeth, it's not wartime food. It's a fraud. Or is that the same thing? Well, that's all for now, but I'll be back again soon to tell you some more of the secrets of Scotland Yard. Meanwhile, this is Clive Brooks saying goodbye, and check your change.
November the 2nd, 1917, Regent Square, Bloomsbury, London. A street scavenger known to his friends as Jack the Sweeper, no relation to Jack the Ripper, is going about his usual business of sweeping up the leaves and debris of a London square when he comes across a parcel wrapped in sacking just inside the railings of the garden.
Hello, what's this? Somebody left some old clothes here or something, eh? Let's have a look. What is all?
Yes, of course, you are right. Not just a body, part of a body. Headless, legless, and handless. The body, or it remains, was covered with delicate underclothing of lace and blue ribbon and was wrapped in a sheet. There was also a torn piece of brown paper on which had been scrawled B-L-O-D-I-E, B-E-L-G-I-U-M. Bloody Belgium.
Have you found anything else, Sergeant? Yes, sir. A search was made in the vicinity immediately after the discovery. And a little distance away, in another part of the garden, we found the legs of the victim left in paper. Dr. Spilsbury has taken a look at those now.
Good. If there's one man in London who may help us, it's Dr. Bernard Spilsbury.
Even in those days, the name of young Dr. Bernard Spilsbury had earned the respect and admiration of Scotland Yard. Spilsbury, a hard-working pathologist, had devoted his career and life towards the study of the medical aspect of crime. The problem put to him in this case was one of the most difficult in his professional career.
I'm afraid there's no hope of positive identification of the victim until the missing head can be found. It is, of course, a woman, but I think if you can give me a little more time, I may be able to help you with some more information. I'm going back to my laboratory now, and I'll be in touch with you later in the day.
Very good, Dr. Spilsbury. Meantime, I'll do everything I can on my side. Of course, there wasn't much to work on except for that bit of paper. Bloody Belgium. I see it spelled B-L-O-D-I-E. I wonder what that means.
Although World War I was at its height, London was horrified by the atrocious murder of this unknown woman. The scrawled message on the piece of paper naturally gave rise to the suggestion that the victim was a Belgian refugee. Meantime, the investigation, in the hands of Chief Inspector Frederick Wensley, one of the toughest, shrewdest, and most relentless detectives who ever served Scotland Yard, went forward.
I'll give a knock, Sergeant.
Most
sir. I don't like it. All right, Sergeant, we'll break the door down. Very good, sir. All right, I'll go first. Now, this is the place, all right.
There's an apartment here, sir.
Fancy. All this dead dirt in the corner. Check them over, Sergeant, and see if they match with the sheet we have.
Look like it, sir. And take a look at this counterfeit, covered with blood.
Yes, I see.
And over here, sir, there's a bucket. It's full of water. Looks as though there's blood in it, too.
The murder may have been committed here. All the same, there are one or two things I don't quite understand. We'll get Dr. Bernard Salisbury along and see what he thinks of it.
It transpired that Madame Gerard had not been seen since 11:15 on the night of October the 31st. In view of Dr. Spilsbury's evidence, it looked as though the inspector was right and that she had been murdered about the time the air raid was in progress. According to witnesses, Madame Gerard had left her flat late that night to take refuge. Back to the flat in Munster Square went Inspector Wensley and his assistants to search it yet again for possible clues.
Here's something, sir.
I found it among the papers on this desk.
Now, give it to me.
I owe you 50 pounds, L-V-O-I-S-I-N.
Yes, sir.
Voisin.
Payable on the 1st of November.
Voisin. I don't think we've heard that name before in this case.
No, sir. That name's been among the witnesses. Or ask the landlord to see if he knows anybody called Voisin.
The landlord proved to be a very loquacious man. He most certainly knew Voisin. He knew all about him. He knew all about all the residents in the flats in Munster Square. The difficulty was to keep him on the subject in hand. Voisin, it seemed, used to be a friend of Madame Gerard's husband, who was a French chef, and Voisin, being a butcher, they had much in common. Gerard used to buy supplies from Voisin at his place in Smithfield Market. Then Gerard went abroad to fight for France. Afterwards, then the landlord, Mrs. Gerard acted as a sort of housekeeper for Voisin, but now she had been at the present flat for some time. Voisin still lived at Charlotte Street, Fitzroy Square.
It's funny you should ask about Mr. Voisin. I hadn't seen him for some time, but he came round here to the house the other afternoon.
Which afternoon?
Well, it had been the afternoon after Madame Gerard disappeared.
And the afternoon before we discovered the body.
That's right, November the 1st it was. He came round in the afternoon just after lunch. Why, I remember what he said to me. Oh, good evening, Mr. Voisin. You're quite a stranger. I haven't seen you for some time.
It's about Madame Gerard I have called.
I don't think she's in. Come to think of it, I haven't seen her since yesterday.
She'll be away for several weeks.
Oh, nothing of that, right?
No. It's nothing important. It's just to tell you that she will be away.
Oh, I see.
Oh, by the way, I have to tell you that Madame Gerard is expecting a sack of potatoes. And she says, would you be good enough to take them in while they are delivered, you know?
Yes, of course I will. And tell Madame Gerard I hope we'll see her back very soon.
Yes, I'll tell her that.
And that's the last time I've seen Mr. Voisin.
What else do you know about this man?
Well, I know he's got the key to Madame Gerard's flat because I saw him letting himself in there.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yes, and what's more, I reckon it was his money which used to pay her rent.
Have you got any proof of that?
Only she used to pay me every Friday after he'd been to see her. And if he was late or didn't come, then I noticed she didn't pay me until he'd been.
And she used to be his housekeeper?
Yes, sir. But I think they was pretty good friends.
Scotland Yard detectives reconnoitred Voisin's address in Charlotte Street and found that he lived in a basement flat near some stables. Voisin has until recently been a slaughterman employed by a wholesale butcher at Smithfield Market, but was now in charge of his employer's horses. Having sized up the situation, the man from the yard planned a raid. That afternoon, Voisin, together with a woman friend, Bertha Roche, were seated in the living room of their flat when suddenly...
Well, what in the name of the devil?
All right, Monsieur Voisin, we're the police.
Oh, sir, I
What do you want?
What the yard wanted was evidence, and Voisin's flat told a terrible story. The doors and walls were spattered with blood. Examination of Voisin's flat left no doubt that it had been the scene of an awful crime. This time, Dr. Spilsbury could confirm the authenticity of the evidence.
All right, Monsieur Voisin. I think you'll have to come along with me to Bow Street.
Must she come too?
Yes, I shall want the lady as well.
May I pack some of my things?
I'm afraid at the moment I can't allow you to touch anything or take it away with you.
Very well.
Come along now.
While Voisin and Bertha Roche were taken to Bow Street, detectives questioned their neighbors for further evidence. It appeared that on the night of October the 31st, the voices of two women in violent altercation had been heard coming from Voisin's room. This had not commanded much attention at the time on account of the air raid. At about 8 o'clock the following morning, Bertha Roche had been seen by one of her neighbors drawing water from a tap. The neighbor spoke to her, and she replied that Voisin had been killing a calf, and that she was fetching water to wash his shirt. Voisin was searched, and the key to the door of a cellar in Charlotte Street was found in his pocket. Detectives were dispatched to search the cellar, and there, buried in a tub of sawdust, they found the missing head and hands of the murdered woman. Voisin and Bertha Roche were detained at Bow Street for the night, while Wensley carefully considered the evidence against them. It was a matter of common sense that one or the other, or both of them, had murdered Madame Gerard. In view of the medical report, however, the extent to which Voisin might be implicated was uncertain. A test occurred to Wednesday which would go a long way towards determining the guilt or innocence of Voisin, and he decided to apply it.
Now, Mr. Voisin, I wonder if you'd be prepared to help me. What do you want me to do? Have you any objection to writing the words Bloody Belgium on this piece of paper?
No, not at all.
There you are. Thank you. Would you mind writing it again? It'll do on the same piece of paper.
All right.
Thank you. And once again. Thank you very much indeed. Oh, by the way, I see you spell bloody B-L-O-D-I-E.
Yes.
And you spelled it that way 3 times.
Yes.
Mr. Voisin, do you always spell it that way?
I don't know.
Louis Voisin and Bertha Roche, I'm going to charge you with the murder of Emilienne Gerard. I must warn you that anything you may say may be taken down as evidence and used at your trial.
Two days later, Voisin volunteered a statement. It was an attempt to adapt his own story to the discoveries he knew the police had made, and at the same time to exonerate Bertha Roche. Dr. Spilsbury had, in fact, reconstructed the true story of the crime.
The head of the woman was covered with wounds which must have been inflicted with some weapon, such as a poker. There were literally dozens of the wounds. There were cuts and bruises on the woman's hands, which had been caused as she had tried to ward off the blows that had rained upon her head. Whoever had struck the blows was someone of no great physical strength. The woman died not from the direct effect of the blows, but from loss of blood. She survived the attack for probably half an hour. An examination of the heart indicates partial strangulation. We are therefore able to build up the following picture of the crime. The woman was attacked with a poker or similar weapon by someone of no great strength. She fought for her life and no doubt screamed for help. While blows were still being rained on her, a second person must have thrown something over her head, no doubt with the object of stifling her cries. Next we turn to the question of dismemberment. The body was dismembered by someone of unusual strength, who was accustomed to the use of a knife. The cuts indicate experience of dissection, but no surgical knowledge. We can therefore conclude that two people were concerned in the crime.
And so Dr. Spilsbury, working independently in his laboratory, had reached the same conclusions as Inspector Wensley. Madame Gerard, so far as could be discovered, had never met Bertha Roche and did not even know of her existence. On the night of the air raid, Madame Gerard had left her flat in Regent's Park and taken shelter in a tube station. The rest can only be surmised, but we can imagine that when the all-clear signal was given, a crowd of frightened refugees was turned out so that the tube station could be closed for the night. Madame Gerard must have made her way to Voisin's room, intending to spend the rest of the night in the security of his cellar. Here she must have found Bertha Roche. The scene between the two women can be imagined. Both had been in a hysterical terror throughout the air raid. Madame Gerard, incensed at the discovery of her rival, may have abused Bertha Roche. She, maddened by the other's taunts, must have picked up the weapon nearest to her hand and attacked the intruder. Voisin, sleeping in the next room, must have been awakened by the noise, rushed into the room, thrown a towel around the head of the screaming woman. The blows and suffocation must have continued for some time until finally Amelia and Gerard lay dead. Imagine Voisin and Bertha Roche sitting up all night, talking of ways and means of disposing of the body. And then, next day, Voisin visiting Madame Gerard's flat to lay a false trail of evidence, all to no avail. And finally, Voisin going out on his awful task of disposing of the body. The trial came on at the Old Bailey for Mr. Justice Darling. Spilsbury and Wensley were convinced in their own minds that Bertha Roche must have attacked Madame Gerard, but there could be no legal proof of this. A submission was made on her behalf that there was no case to go to the jury, and the judge gave his ruling.
There is a good deal of evidence against Roche to show that she was an accessory after the fact of the murder. But there is not evidence to prove that she necessarily took part in the crime itself. I shall therefore direct the jury to return a verdict of not guilty in regard to her.
Bertha Roche was thereupon discharged, and the trial continued with Voisin alone in the dock. The evidence of Dr. Spilsbury decided the case for the prosecution. The jury took only a quarter of an hour to decide that Voisin was guilty. Mr. Justice Darling passed sentence of death in French. On the day before Voisin was executed, Bertha Roche appeared at the Old Bailey and was sentenced to 7 years penal servitude as an accessory after the murder. She died in prison a year later. Oh, and by the way, nobody ever discovered why Voisin wrote those crude words on the piece of paper he left with the body. Those words which were to help to hang him for a murder most foul.